We've got one shot.
This is absolutely spectacular.
We've only got one shot. We've got one shot, one shot. Do you feel alive? We've got
What a
one
race
shot,
we
one
are
shot.
watching here.
We've got one shot, one shot. Do you feel alive? Get in.
Threading the eye of the needle with surgical-like
We won't
precision.
back down to feel alive. Waiting for the chance to show the world who we are. We've only got one shot. We've only got one shot.
It's an outstanding overtake.
Oh, we gotta do it right to feel alive. Waiting for the chance to show the world who we are. We've only got one shot.
Welcome to Creator Series Season 13. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time again and welcome to Creator Series. We are back, baby, and it's Season 13, Round 10. And boy, have we started with a bang. We've went and pissed off all of the racers and all of the audience by making it Reverse Netherlands. Get it right up, yous. I love it. Let's do it. Let's have some fun tonight. I am buzzing for this. Reverse Netherlands, our creators have been practicing all week, even though they know they shouldn't be. They will have been practicing all week at the normal track, but now we have flipped it in reverse, which does require quite a different setup. I won't lie. It's not just the same as putting all of the stuff on the reverse way. It is not. We will be coming with you with a banging stream, and it will not just be me that you're looking at. We have the dynamic duo, the two Toms are with us again, ready for a banging night. Tom Knight, Tom Wilkinson, TK, how are you, my friend? Welcome.
Slightly stressed, I think, is the option at the moment as we're running through. But no, Zandvoort's going to be a fantastic race. It gives us some good racing. And of course, we've got precedent, we've got heritage here. Of course, of Tim Marduk and Alex Gillen going side by side, one of them ending in a wall. But nonetheless, some thrilling racing.
Mr. Wilkinson, welcome, welcome. Are you excited about the reverse part of tonight?
Yeah, I was caught out as much as everybody else was. So if you're asking for some info on Reverse Zandvoort, I've not driven it on 26, so I've got absolutely no idea. I can remember the layout. That's about it. But it's a learning experience for everyone, isn't it? And that should mean that hopefully, because we've changed the track late, maybe that will just mix it up a little bit. We don't know.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you guys were not told about that as well. Absolutely crazy. Last race, who won? Ricky! Ricky won! How cool was that? I love to see it. He is on that top step. I love it. Just so you know, for the seasoning standards, we still have Gillen in the lead. He's ready for this. He'll be the type of guy that loves this stuff. I heard he's actually annoyed that they told us all too early, so people have still had time to practice a few laps of Reverse Netherlands. He wanted to just go straight in. Quite typical. We have Tom back in the full-time reserve, so you'd love to see it. Will he eventually get to a win, TK? Do you think it's coming?
I think it certainly is coming. He had his opportunity a couple of weeks ago. He was so close to that win in Singapore, and I think he just needs to find form. It's not always about being the quickest driver, which he is a very quick driver on his day. He needs that level of consistency, more so now in the 2026 regulations, and I think that's just been his downfall.
Do you know, I think you're right. Wilkinson, we do have another rule in force tonight that's maybe been overshadowed by the reverse fact. How about you tell us a little bit about that?
I'm delighted about this one because intentional safety cars have been thrown in the bin. So we're not going to be getting what we saw a few times last week where it was absolute anarchy. Alex Gillen was not happy at all. He's not usually very happy when we have situations like that. I agreed with him, though, on the most part. But yeah, we're not going to be having those late race safety cars unless it's for a genuine collision. Yeah, I think it was, not to throw him under the bus, I think it was Grid Jokes, wasn't it, last week with that really late safety car that completely changed the entire complexity of what was going on. So we're going to be going back to more of a realistic, more of an authentic kind of Creator Series race, which we haven't had for a long time. Probably, 7 or 8 seasons maybe that's been a rule?
You might be right, to be fair. All right, but no moaning in the chat, guys. If we get a no safety car race and it's boring, no moaning at all, okay? We're giving you what you want. I love it. So, yeah, we also have, now, find a few good things to say about this driver's quality. We have Adam Sanderson back, TK.
We do, and I am so happy to see that man back. I was watching his stream slightly earlier on, and he was getting back accustomed to the cars and how they all work. But, you know, he's had a long time away. It's always hard to understate just how difficult it is to step back into this regulation of cars and then perform to the highest level.
Does he still hate the new cars? Yeah.
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know that for
It's
sure,
not.
but 99% of creators don't like them.
Yeah. No, it's weird, right? It's weird. Like myself, I need to play this game later on, and I need to practice now because I need to learn battery management. And it's just like it's one of these things, right? You can't just kind of hop on and play it. So someone like Adam Sanderson, is going to need to really kind of pull it out the bag here if he wants a serious chance at winning some points. Mr. Wilkinson. Gillen, let's talk about Gillen for a sec, because I feel like I get the Max Verstappen thing with him where, I mean, like, Verstappen's a better driver, obviously, but what I get is the mentality. He's always raging throughout the full thing, but then always does well. Have you noticed that?
I kind of get that impression that he's not usually particularly enamoured throughout the majority of the race. Then he just sort of pops up in a really decent position. Like, he's still leading the championship by 18 points. It's been a bit of a weird second half of the season because if you look at Lolly, who's now in second, 18 points further back, he's only been on the podium once in the last 7 races, but he's just accumulated points because Tom 97 had that run of third places. He's had some stinkers in there, recently retired a week ago at Suzuka. Ben, after getting 4 podiums in the first 5 races with a couple of wins, a couple of 7th places, then missed the last 2 races. He is back this week. You can put your pitchforks down. Ben is back in action this week. But Ricky with that win last week, does that bring him into the equation? Maraki's always thereabouts in some pretty decent nick as well. So there's so many different aspects. And I think it almost feels like the entire thing that we had in the first few races has been flipped completely on its head. So we have no idea what's going to be happening because we've had some shock winners. And I think that's what we love to see.
You know, you're right. I do love to see that, to be honest. I never want to go into this race predicting exactly what's going to happen. And as much as the new game's a bit weird, it has actually given us some quite good racing. Kind of similar to real life. Playing it's a bit weird, but watching it, TK, would you say is it fair to say that races are quite fun?
Fun is a subjective word. I will leave that up to the audience. But I think, weirdly, it's the one time you've got the regulations matching what we have in game, probably to the closest we've had in many, many years. Whether that's a good thing or not, again, I'll leave that up to the audience. Let us know down in the Twitch or the YouTube or the Kick Chat, wherever you're watching along. But I think the way they've replicated the regulations is fantastic. They've done it well, but I can't say I enjoy this racing in this era.
Yeah, fair enough. Look, that's what I want. I want some honesty out there. Guys in the chat, let us know what's your thoughts as well, because like we're stuck with this, right? Sometimes in life you just got to make the best out of a bad situation. And to be fair, looking back, especially the races I've seen, I've been part of, we have actually had some banging moments, to be fair. I would say maybe even more than the last couple of seasons in the last game, because they got rough. Remember when Creator Series were just trying to throw every weird rule that they could just to make it more interesting? We've not had to do that, have we, Mr. Wilkinson?
No, and I think even if it's not necessarily the purest of racing, we have had some good battles, we've had some good races, we've got some memorable talking points that we can have. So as much as we are stuck with this battery formula, I actually think the cars themselves, I don't particularly mind them. You can feel the difference in weight, you can feel the difference in challenge, especially at the back of the car because the downforce has been reduced so much. But with the way that things are working with this new battery formula, it can just feel a little bit of a chore sometimes.
To be fair, I get what you're saying. All right, we have our 22 drivers. They are slowly making their way into the lobby, as content creators do. They take their sweet-ass time, as always. This is your call to arms, guys, all right? We give you plenty of great content throughout the week on all of our social medias, and if you want to see that, if you want to stay more tuned into the Creator Series and battles throughout and crashes and controversy, then you need to follow us on all the platforms. You can see them above my head right here. YouTube, TikTok, X, all of it, Instagram, whatever. So please get on there. Also, tell someone you know about us, right? We're only as big as you guys watching every week. The more opportunities, the more views, the more success that we get, the cooler things we can bring to you, like all of the sort of LAN events that where we're working with Williams and etc. like that. You want to see more of that in the future? You want to see your content creators getting more into the real F1 side of life? Then it's things like this that go a long way. Because TK, you were there yourself, weren't you? Were you there, Mr. Wilkinson, as well?
We were doubling up.
I've not done it.
Invading as usual, Tom Squared, like a virus. Can't get rid of us.
I love that. So yeah, that's why it all goes to help. So tell someone you know about us and all the great things that we're doing. All right, TK, you've been thrown into a producer role tonight. How's it going for you?
It's interesting. Shall we go ahead and have a look? Because there might be a thing that I have to apologise to stream for straight away. So Scott, we'll catch you in a little bit. We'll have a chat with you a little bit later on. But everybody in the stream, yeah, you can kind of see on your screens at the moment. So I wasn't anticipating producing today. Therefore, I hadn't removed the sponsor boards. So I reckon for the next 3 hours, we just pretend that the sponsor boards don't exist. Also, go follow W1 Sim Series. It's a fantastic thing over there. But we're into qualifying, Tom. It is Zandvoort reverse. 18 minutes on the clock. The drivers have to set the fastest lap time they can. But before any of that can take place, it is the Fisherman's Challenge.
The wet pole Grand Prix for those first 6 minutes of qualifying. Extra championship point on offing as usual. It's Safso that ventures out first on the blue striped tyres. And it'll be an interesting one, isn't it? The wet pole challenge usually has been a bit of a monopoly for Lolanoba so far this season by quite a distance. Usually takes it by a decent whack of time over some of the other drivers, some of the other big names that we usually see right at the sharp end. So it'll be interesting to see if we are getting to a period where things are starting to converge. We see people getting closer as Safso goes for that really late apex through Tarzan, which is, of course, now the final corner. And the benchmark on the wet tyres for everybody to chase is a 1:16.1 for our Season 1 champion.
Ricky at 3, purple in the first sector. We've also got Tom 97 purple in the second as well. We'll be able to jump across and have a look at Tom 97 as he comes up towards the line. Now goes fastest. 1:15.500. So dead on the halfway mark in towards the 1:14s. We'll keep an eye on Ricky 03 as well, who is starting to go quicker. He's up towards the line in the Ferrari. Can he go faster? Not this time. Ryan 83 actually attops him as it stands. So Tom 97, there's certainly one that our drivers will be trying to beat. But they have only got just over 2 minutes if they wish to do it.
Matt 2-on-2 right in there. We're seeing some different names towards the sharp end for the intermediate or the wet pole challenge. Tom 97 leading the way. Matt 2-on-2 second. Kareem up to third. And then you've got Ryan Lady 3, who over one lap in particular this season, just getting better and better. 6/10 ahead of Tim at Marduk, who might be just trying to get up to speed a little bit. Lolanoba, usually the king of this challenge, as we've mentioned. 9th fastest only. 8/10 down on Tom 97's benchmark. Yellow flags are flying. I think that's just for somebody going slowly to get out of the way. Here is Lord Gillen barreling down towards the bank. What was turn number 3 in the correct direction, I believe it's turn number 12 now, as you hook the right, try and get it hooked to the inside, rotate it nicely through, just grappling for grip a little bit. Sector times are okay for Gillen, fastest in the first, not fastest in the middle, as we round that final corner now. Can he displace Tom 97 with just under 90 seconds to go?
Up towards the line, only 6th fastest for Alex Gillen at the moment. Just to remind you in the chat, no, this is not the W1 Sim Series. Apologies, forgot to change the sponsor boards, or didn't have enough time to change the sponsor boards. But nonetheless, looking up and down the field, Adam Sanderson, 21st place as it stands, yet to set a lap time on the board. With just 1 minute to go here, Tom, this is going to be a very close finish for Sanderson. I know the drivers like to get the most optimal track conditions that they can do for a qualifying run, but I can't see this helping when they're on a wet compound of tyre.
Going to be really on the bubble. I don't think he's quite got it. If we're looking at 1:15s, he's got about 45 seconds, so might just sneak inside, actually, the 40 or so seconds that we've got left now. You can see grappling for grip. He's got absolutely nothing on the front, nothing on the rear. Absolute truck to try and drive through this middle sector. And especially when those tyre temperatures just start to spike, just start to spiral and snowball through the high-speed corners as well. And he's got a little bit of traffic to contend with.
He absolutely does. We'll keep an eye on him. He's got the Aston Martin just in front of him, followed by, I believe, to be one of the Haas outfits, either that or one of the Cadillacs. We'll keep an eye on it as they come through the what normally is turn 3 on this circuit and into 2 and into Tarzan, the final corner at the moment. Here is Zandvoort reverse. Can Adam Sanderson, with just 3 seconds left on the clock, this is going to be incredibly close. If he's able to do it, he can't. We cross over into the 11-minute mark. What would it have been for Sanderson? A 1:15.867 would only be good enough for 9th fastest, so not necessarily heartbreak too much for Sanderson as it stands.
Not bad, though. And look how tight it is. Top 8 covered by less than 3/10. You've got the top 10 covered by just over 4. Some big names further back clearly didn't get the lap in that they're anticipating. Ben, Lolanoba, haven't seen anything from Meraki as yet either in the other silver eye. But it's Tom 97 with a very important championship point to add to the kitty. Close that gap to 22 now away from Gillen in the championship chase. And yeah, as Concept 7 on the softs absolutely blitzes it by 5 seconds. 10.6 for the Racing Bulls. Important point there for Tom after a difficult week in Singapore a couple of weeks ago, and then the retirement, the crash that he had where he was a bit of an innocent bystander at Suzuka last week.
Absolutely, and he's got to get that off his mind, doesn't he, as he heads through the rest of this race. You've got to understand that each race is a different opportunity to try and go fastest. We do see Concept 7, you mentioned earlier now, at 1:10.673, just followed by Tuki, a 1:12.060 for himself. So the idea being that obviously now we're on the soft compounded tyres, drivers can run slightly longer than they would have done earlier. They will see the time start to fall down. I think something must have happened to Tuki's run there though, because nowhere near the 1:10s that we're anticipating.
A long way away, trying to see what the sector times are, but we've only got the white slow sector times for the in-lap at the moment. So we'll wait and see on that one. Here is Davide in the Williams. Time on the board currently is 16.9. Exactly the same as Scotty Designs, by the way, for their wet pole challenge, carrying a lot of speed through the final corner of Tarzan and up to the line. Do we split the difference between Concept 7 and Tuki in the Williams, cutting the beam? We almost do it exactly. 11.5 for Davide, just in between them as Ryan disconnects. Not good news.
I think heartbreak for Ryan L83 at the moment, but he is going to be able to get himself back in. Of course, new driver stepping in for today's as well. Necruz, the driver that is stepping into the Visa Cash App Racing Bull, making their way through. They did a respectable time on the Fisherman's Challenge. They were, I think, about 18th or 19th in totality. I think maybe a little bit higher, of course. The likes of Concept 7, Davide have pushed them down the order. But it's a unique challenge, isn't it, here, when you get a set of wet compound tyres and you have to drive a dry circuit. But for Safso, who was the first driver to attempt it, he now goes fastest on a set of the softs.
It's the transition back to the softs as well. Have to get up to speed, have to get used to that almost infinitely more grip that you find yourself. Lolanova very quick through the first sector, but lost 2/10 to Safso in the middle. Concept 7 fastest in the middle sector as well, going for a second lap time on these tyres. Tim McMurdoch not too far away from the outright pace either, and that's Lolly bailing out of that one, getting out of the way. Vince on a fast lap who's just gone through. So errors there or problems for the reigning champion as we wait for Vince and we wait for Concept to set their times. There is Vince lowering the benchmark by a quarter of a second. 10.3. Can Concept try and steal it back to the line? 10.4. Jumps ahead of Safso.
He was purple in the middle sector. That guy Vince purple in the final sector. Lonnie Nober as well after that bailed out lap. He was going fastest in the first, a 20.7 opening lap. That was 2/10 quicker than Concept in the 10th as well, changed quicker than that guy Vince. Here comes Matt 212 and GB68 up towards the line as well. Matt 212 taking provisional pole at the moment for Team Haas. GB just behind in the lean green racing machines, a 1:10.248. Meaning Matt 212, for what I believe could be the first time in his Creator Series career, could start from pole position, but of course, a lot of drivers still yet to do their final runs. One of those does include this man, Lord Gillen, 14th fastest at the moment, but of course that was on that wet compounder tyres. Ricky 03 has gone purple in the first, 20.611.
10th up on Gillen, whose first sector was double decent too. Tim McMurdoch P6 at the moment on that 10.7. 6/10 down on Matt 212, who was quick on the wets, clearly very hooked up around this circuit. And is this going to be a new challenger to the fray? Ricky 03, decent middle sector perhaps. Alex Gillen, not a purple middle sector either. I know it has flashed up as purple. I was thinking that looks pretty quick. That looks pretty lively coming out of the banking. Couple of corners left to go, lighting up the rear tyres and looking potentially to make this a Haas 1-2. Good for the Constructors' Championship. Gillen round in the final corner. Gillen to the line. 10-1 to aim at. P6, that slide in the final sector, not helping him at all.
Yeah, didn't look like Ryan L83 had a good run either. 17th, he drops into the pits. I think it might have been Tim Mardik following him through it was as well. Up to 8th fastest for the Australian. We can ride on board and just see if he's looking to go again. The battery's certainly recharging through that first sector. More drivers are setting personal best. 21st, that's Meraki, has gone personal best in the first and the second. Didn't opt to do a wet tyre run, so this will be somewhat more representative of the driver at the moment. But he has, I think, backed out there by the looks of things. I can't tell if he's on a lap. It's hard to tell sometimes when you've got cars going slowly because the lift and coast really messes with your brain sometimes.
You can see the light flashing. Definitely an outlap for Jake at this stage, giving himself just over 6.5 minutes to try and get the flow and the rhythm of this circuit. Matt 2-2 still leading the way by just over a 10th ahead of GB. Vince Kareem, who's popped up into 4th, and then Concept, your top 5. Not a top 5 that we've seen too often. Probably never before, perhaps, in the Creator Series, but that's what we like to see. This is the dice being rolled with that track configuration change. GB, is this him going again? Yes, fastest. Very impressive middle sector, you have to say. 10th quicker than anybody else so far. So could this be Matt 2-2's provisional pole time falling by the wayside as we just move marginally closer to the 109s perhaps. GB to the line, gets into the 109s. Fastest in the final sector as well, 9.933. And that is quite the benchmark for everybody to chase as Lolly gets a decent time on the board to go 7th.
It's great lap time from GB68 and of course up into the 109s. The first of our drivers to be able to achieve that feat. Nick Cruz as well, going faster in the first for himself, but not a personal best in the second. We're seeing a lot of these times. First and foremost, as Matty D leaves the session. That's unfortunate. Adam Sanderson down in 16th invalidated his run after the first sector. So again, really struggling to find the time that he needs to. It's a tricky set of regulations to get yourself reaccustomed to after having so long away from this game. And I think we're seeing maybe some long runs here from Sanderson, which I think at the end of the day is the smart play to do. Load your car up, go and go and go, and hope one of them is representative enough before finally making that final stop, going for a low fuel run, and giving it all you've got.
You've got to try and get a feel for it, especially when you've been out of the game for so long. You haven't had the acclimatization phase that a lot of the guys have had from the ground effect cars to these 2026 cars. So it will be a big learning experience for Adam, even though he has got some in this car as the McLaren just in front of Ryan gets out of the way. Jake on a fast lap as well, though his first sector wasn't particularly quick. His middle sector's pretty strong, though, as he goes up into P9. He was actually matching the fastest middle and final sectors, but his first sector losing half a second, 6/10 almost to the best of the session. And there is Tom 97. Blitzes the final sector and takes over from GB at the summit.
Talk about leaving it late. 4.5 minutes left in the qualifying session. The Red Bull Racing driver, the permanent reserve inside of the Creator Series, making his way to the top step, a 109.764, letting past one of the Audi cars. That'll either be Scotty Designs, by the way, or it'll be Karim 17. This instance, it was Scotty Designs, by the way, not improving in the first sector. Looks like a bit of a cool-down run for himself, or wanting to go again. He finds himself in 15th, his teammate Karim up in 5th. So a little bit of disparity between both Audi cars at the moment. But of course, it is a weird circuit. Everybody was told this was regular Zandvoort. There's been no wild cards all season. Let's double down on expressing that. And then it came with less than an hour to go, I believe, that this was going to be the reverse circuit.
Might have even been less than that. So you've got to try and get up to speed very, very quickly. Maybe you can see who's done this circuit a little bit more. You've got some big names buried in the midfield at the moment. Lolly 8th, Gillen 9th, Jake 10th, Ben down in P12 as well. Fimex on a fast lap, decent through sectors 1 and 2, looking to try and get towards that top 10, maybe get a little bit closer to his teammate. Safso running nicely as well, 7th fastest at the moment on that 10.5, but still a big gap. Considering this is such a short circuit, those gaps have just been extenuated a little bit as Fimex with an improvement to go 11th, but still just in that cluster of cars in the mid-110s who are going to have to find a massive whack of time on the final flying laps to get anywhere near probably finishing in the top 5.
It's a really weird situation to find ourselves in, though. And I'm watching Adam there as he made his way through the middle sector. Good big flick of the wheel there as he was just already backing out of the lap. He's still in 16th, hasn't found form that he'd like to at the moment, but he peels in towards pit road, which is rather unfortunate for themselves. Concept 7 is back on a hot lap, improving by about 1.8 tenths through the opening sector. We'll see the split there actually not improving through the first, should I say, so maybe this is their cool down up. Safso has retired. That is in the pit, so deciding that he's not going to get round in time to set another run, which is interesting to note. Tom 97, though, is going faster in the first sector. It's a personal best for himself of 20.748 seconds. And let's see what he can do in 2 and 3.
That's where it's been strong. He's a 10.5 down on the best first sector time of the session. Improving a little bit in the middle sector, but lost time compared to his personal best so far. Still a couple of tenths away from what GB managed, which is the fastest time. So it's this final sector that Tom 97 absolutely nailed on his first flying lap. 2 minutes to go as he rounds Tarzan to complete his second push lap of the session. Maybe a distant tow from the McLaren just up the road. Do we find any more time with Tom? Yes. 0.02 of a second, just getting those incremental gains and lowering the benchmark just a tad more. 2 tenths now the difference between himself and GB.
Absolutely. Timo Marek, the driver that gave him that tow through the opening section of corners here, of course, running at Zandvoort reverse, where this traditionally would be the end of the circuit. Yellow flags in the second sector. It looks like one of the, I believe one of the Haas cars might have just bailed out of their lap there. I'm trying to figure out who that might be. It could be one of the Cadillacs as well. It is a massive guessing game, trying to figure out exactly who's gone wide at one point. I'm not going to try and find it at this moment in time, but it is Timo Marek. We'll keep an eye on the Australian Wonder. You do see an Audi Alpine on the inside, just moving slowly to allow both themselves and the Aston Martin that chase them to follow.
Might have to look at his teammate. Ryan Lady 3, fastest of anybody in the first sector. Tim at Marduk bailing out of this one, not finding the time. Poor first sector, backing out of it in the middle. So problems for our Australian ace. And hopefully we can turn our attention to his teammate, who's in and around the ballpark here to get towards the low 110s. Maybe get himself in and around the region. Matt 212, Dak Govins get into the top 5. Looking like the 109s might just be a stretch too far unless he nails this final sector. Little bit of traffic into Tarzan, maybe put off by the Alpine just on the right-hand side. Ryan with a really strong lap here as he closes down to the finishing line. Where does it put him? A little bit of a delay. P3, 10 flat.
Good lap indeed from Ryan 83, hoping that he probably could have just eclipsed GB, but it wasn't to be this time around. His teammate, though, Tim at Marduk. Let's see what his sector split is this time out of the first. 1.5 tenths improvement. He's going to need to find more time than that if he wants to try and challenge to the top runners. Tom 97 retires, deciding his laps are well and truly done. A 109.737. It might not be a Boeing, but he certainly hopes that it can take off.
Not seeing too many other improvements at the moment. Gillen up to P4 on a 10.1. I'll be pleased with that. GB, no improvement in Sector 1. Tim at Marduk needs to try and find a decent lap time here. Same as last week's winner, Ricky 03, buried down in position number 13 and not improving in Sector 1 either. So Ricky rounds the final corner. Decent middle sector for Tim at Marduk in and around the region that he wants to try and get to. The Scarlet Ferrari to the line. His teammate bumped down immediately to P10 as Kareem improves to go 7th. Ricky to P8. Fabio 15th. What can Ben manage though right at the end of the session? 14th only for Tim at Marduk. Make that P4 with a very strong final sector.
Good run from himself up towards the top 4 positions. To keep it up, Meraki though, the next Mercedes. He'll be making their way through. That's the wrong car. Meraki has jumped up, I think, as I clicked the wrong driver again to the line. Can he improve? No, not this time. 74,000 of a second slower. Tukey doesn't find improvement. 21st will be the best that he can go. What can Alex Gillen do? No, he's backed out on a lap. So unless anybody in the bottom 10 can find a miracle here, it's going to be interesting. Matty D was finding improvements. Crosses the line in 20th. But it could have been the moment that he was waiting for, as the last road across the line will be Davide, who will come home, I believe, in 20th place. Indeed. Just a couple of drivers in the pits. Lord Gillen being the last to make his way into pit road.
It is Tom 97 then. By half a tenth, GB tried to chase him down at the end of the session. Improvement in the final sector, but not finding time in Sector 1 and Sector 2. Eventually costing GB that chance to get another pole position. 2 McLarens behind. Ryan Lady 3. Hats off. P3 on the grid. Ben sat just behind in 4th. Matt 212, another standout in 6th. We've got a couple of big names way down the order. Meraki going from 16th. And Lolonoba, the reigning champion, going from 15th.
It's going to be a very, very interesting race indeed. A reverse circuit and some would say a somewhat reversed and mixed up grid. The likes of Sasso down in 14th, not necessarily where you'd expect. Ricky 03 outside of the top 8. There's going to be a lot of carnage into this race, especially as drivers might miss their braking zone. But your complete order then for the reverse Dutch Grand Prix is Tom 97 alongside GB68 on the front row. It's then a double McLaren lockout on row 2 with Ryan L83 leading his teammate of Team Marduk. It's then Alex Gillen from Matt 212, Dat Guy Vince, Karim 70, Ricky 03 and Concept 7 as your top 10. It's then Fimex, Necruz, Adam Sanderson, Safso, Lolly Noba, Meraki, Infratic, Scotty Designs, by the way, Chappers, Davide DeCipio, Matty D13 and Tukey. Your complete 22 car order as we get ready to go racing in the next few moments.
Absolutely wonderful, guys. Well done. I love that. Okay, definitely representing the W1 series as well. Very nice, very nice. I love that. Yeah, okay, let's talk about that qualifying session before we end up getting into the race. Now, Matt, 212 in 6th place. Okay, he's been having a rough time recently. He's been getting into accidents and stuff that might not necessarily be his own fault, to be fair. But what I am noticing is he's in 6th place now. That's quite mad, isn't it, Tom Wilkinson?
He's done an excellent job. And I think we saw right at the start of the session, he was on the button immediately. I think he was in the top 5 for the wet pole challenge as well. He was really in contention for that, leading that at one stage. Provisional pole sitter at one point as well. Didn't manage to find time as the session progressed, but clearly the raw speed and the raw pace is there for Matt 212, which is going to be interesting. Does he act as a bit of a rear gunner perhaps for Alex Gillen going into this? We'll have to wait and see, because we've got those big names that are right at the front, and then you've got some big names towards the back, and then you've got some guys in the middle who are all fighting for trying to maybe find a little bit of form. For example, we've got Kareem 70, P8. was looking decent a couple of weeks ago, just fell out of the equation with some problems. He's having some disconnection issues as well, so need to keep an eye on that. Ricky may be out of position as well in 9th, so potential for things to explode because the first lap around this configuration of Zandvoort can be a little bit wild.
Yep, exactly. All right, what we're going to do, guys, we're going to take a 2-minute break and we're going to be right back with you with the race, with all the action. We are going to get our producer onto the screen and we'll let everything get the way it's supposed to do. So stay tuned, grab a drink. We'll be back in about 2 minutes.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Hello, and welcome to a normal-looking Zandvoort pit lane. We appreciate you just having a few moments to let us get everything sorted out in the background. We've managed to scrub some of the paint off pit road, and it's all back to normal. The sponsors are happy, Tom.
Yes, we're all back in the room. I've got a fan because it's very warm in here currently, and I was in a state that nobody wants to try and find themselves in. But yes, looking forward to this one. Don't necessarily know what to expect with a late change, with a slightly mixed up grid as well. Tom 97 looking really strong. Is this finally the time? Scott mentioned it in the intro. Is this the time we see the Tom 97 victory? The first in probably 2 years?
Oh, I wouldn't say no to it. That's certainly something that I would be looking forward to as we get ready to go racing in Zandvoort, because it is going to be a monumental moment when that happens. You just know that there are going to be celebrations aplenty.
Absolutely. He's going to be loving life. Brings him back into the championship picture as well, which has been muddled, to say the least, over the last few weeks with absentees and retirements and crazy races and late safety cars. Remember, if you are new or if you are joining us for the first time now, intentional safety cars are banned for this race. So we're not going to be seeing, hopefully, any 3-lap shootouts because somebody's deliberately thrown it in the wall because they want to end their day slightly early.
That is the hope, anyway. That's the absolute hope for our drivers, because, of course, there may be some shenanigans. I'm not saying that drivers are going to do anything that's a little bit silly, but I am saying that drivers might do something that's a little bit silly.
Everything's possible. Everything's still on the table. Hopefully we do get to see the strategy played out, see what the drivers are going for. Remember, all 3 dry tyre compounds have to be used as well, soft, medium, and hard, throughout the race.
Certainly. So here we go then, getting ready for 72 laps around Zandvoort. 5 red lights for the Creator Series, and the lights go out, and we go racing down towards the banking, which is traditionally the final turn. Here is Zandvoort. Top 97 leads from TB. Already carnage behind. Oh my goodness, that's Matt 212, who qualified so well, finding the barrier oh so early here this afternoon. Front wing has completely disintegrated from that car, but my goodness, what a race start that was.
I think we got safety car out, must do. It was a big old squeeze from Matt. He got his elbows out. It was really punchy. Squeezed somebody into the pit lane, or somebody squeezed him into the pit lane. And yeah, coming up second best in that altercation after his best qualifying in the Creator Series. Now thrown down to last with no front wing on his car. Penalty for emphatic thrown up as well. We thought that bank turn 1 and turn 2 that usually finished the lap was going to cause a little bit of carnage. Lolling over, great start already. You can see reigning champion up into P9 as the virtual safety car is brought in. Problems for Kareem as well. Maybe he was the one that got tangled up with Matt 2-on-2 back down into P15.
Unfortunately for a few drivers, of course, that no intentional safety car rule also extends to no intentionally upgrading VSCs to full safety cars. If Matt 2-on-2, he would have been hoping and praying that someone would have done it anyway. Concept 7's dropped 2 positions. Both Scott Designs, by the way, Davide DeCipio and Concept 7, who's continuing to battle with up for 18th place. Side by side there between Karim 17 and I believe that was Meraki who tried it down the inside of what is traditionally turn 3. This time around it will be turn 11, but we bank on to end the final lap. We see here Karim 17 and Meraki side by side. It is Karim 17 that stays ahead in towards the banking. Can he try and do it? More yellow flags in the final corner. I think Matt 2 and 2 has had an issue getting into pit road, but Concept 7 and Chappers also join him in getting fresh compound of tyres and a new front wing as well. Meraki leaves the session. A disconnect is unfortunate this early on in the Grand Prix. You do see the race strategies up on your screen at the moment. Medium to soft to hard being the traditional 2-stop strategy, although if they want to, hard, hard, soft, but of course the rules overall that's saying you're not allowed to do that. All 3 dry compounds of tyres must be used during today's race.
And we can already see a break in the lead train. Top 5 has managed to scamper off after the shenanigans on the opening lap. Nearly 2 seconds between Gillen and Dak Guy Vince. Ben getting ahead of Ryan on the opening lap as well, trying to apply the blow to GB. And I think 2 of our Italians might be about to go into combat. Yellow flags are flying. Ricky going defensive. Lottie tries to hook it around the outside. Long way around through the bank. Jordan slammed in his face as they head out of it. Matt 2 on 2 is retired. I don't think he's thrown it into a wall. Maybe that's in retiring from the menu. Sim damage apparently on as well, which will be interesting to see how that goes. But Matt 2 on 2 already done.
Yeah, you can see his car is retired at the exit of what will be turn 2 here at reverse Zandvoort. Yellow flags fly as they allow themselves around that corner. Mareki has got himself back in, so that does beg the question, how much rear wing damage potentially did Matt 2 on 2 pick up slightly early on? Yeah, rear wing and side pod damage, but that can be picked up on standards from what I believe. Alex Gillen gets past Ryan L83, but we have got a migrating host as Meraki leaves the session, which would inform me that probably Alex Gillen has left the session. There we go, we've lost our session host at the moment. Are we going to lose anybody else? It's just those 2 as it stands. Up in the front, we see the battle. Lolly Nova trying to chase down the likes of Ricky 3, Necruz and that guy Vince as well. The Alpine that is in P6. He's about 1.5 seconds, nearing to 2 seconds off the back of Ryan L83, who in turn is trying to chase down the man, or was trying to chase down the man that hosted this lobby. Gillen now back up to the clutches of his team.
That was a big problem though, because Gillen just got past Ryan, and now that he's disconnected, Ryan's had to sit behind the slow AI Haas car. As you can see there, Lolly getting all out of shape coming out of the banking. Now dropped 2 seconds to the leading trio. Problems for Gillen, problems for Ryan, courtesy of that migrating host again. I think Alex Gillen definitely having some problems here. We head down the main straight again. This is Ricky 3 close to the back of Necruz, who's had a really strong start as well. 2 Italians trying to charge after the race ball. I think both of them have disposed of him. Maybe he's taken a trip into the wall.
Certainly looking like that could be a possibility. Yeah, Scope Designs handed, I believe what can be understood of the clutches and the clasps of server ownership. Concept 7 also retired. That does look to be on circuit, making their way through, I believe, the final few corners, turn 11. You can see the car just going slowly up towards Tarzan. So what has happened in the cockpit of Concept 7 up at the front though? We do still see Ricky 3 setting a dive down the inside of Alex Gillen, both drivers on the soft compounded tyres. The Scuderia Ferrari wanting the move, getting the move done, and up past Alex Gillen. Here comes Lolly Nova, the other Italian, double teaming Alex Gillen. My goodness, allowing both of them past. And up at the front, GB68 to the inside of Tom 97, taking away the race lead through turn 11, and 12 and 13 will come a beckoning. But GB68, after just 4 laps of racing, takes race lead here onto lap 5.
All kicking off here now, but he's still got to try and defend. Opportunity perhaps for Tom, but I think GB's got the battery advantage and the straight line speed advantage to keep hold of that position. This is Sato around the outside of Adam Sanderson as these guys start lap number 5. You can see Alex Gillen's AI, I still believe, just in the background, drop down to P12 now. Championship leader with big issues. Cream 17th, 13th at the moment, Meraki down in 16th. Lolling over though with the start of the ages, 15th to 6th in the opening 4 laps.
It's looking impressive at the moment, and we do see all of the drivers just figuring themselves out. Of course, it's a long Grand Prix here at Zandvoort, 72 laps. It's a very repetitive circuit that you have to get right time and time again, more traditionally in that straightforward mark. As you head through turn 6 and in towards Marlborough, that's turn 7, you can so easily ride the curve, especially through again to 8 and Renault. So a lot of drivers will have to be careful. Fimex there, getting the better of Adam Sanderson, who's still just finding his feet with this regulation on back racing in the Creator Series, because I think it's unlike racing in any other championship. Keep an eye on Lolly Nova here, up in 6th place though, off the back of that guy Vince. He's gained about 1/10 of a second through the second sector. I wonder if Lolly Nova is going to go for the overtake here. That will be the question. If he can line up that guy Vince, making his way through the final corner. Keep an eye on that in the next few moments, but we still watch on board with Fimex on the back of Sasso, still with Adam Sanderson trying to chase in tow. But Tom, as I was saying, as we see Lolly Nova, here we go, in towards the opening corner. Is he going to send Lou down the inside? Is he going to be patient? He's not going to be patient. He thought there was a gap there for half a moment, but he wasn't going to send it through turn 2. Lolly Nova, can he open up turn 3? The right-hander of the Audi S's. Again, just plays that patient game. But for Sanderson, Tom, we were just saying, it's unlike racing in any other series. Of course, he of course does the likes of VSC ranks and other series that are out there. But when you come here, there is 21 other egos on the circuit. As Lolly Nova finally gets the better of that guy Vince.
Just hold that because Vince, I think, is still going to try and fight this, but there you go, through goes the Cadillac, and that is the reigning champion from 15th to 5th in 5 and a bit laps. But for Adam in P11 at the moment, doing a good job, kept himself out of trouble, and yeah, I think if he can just get dragged along by this group of cars, he's going to keep himself in a really strong position, give himself opportunities going later into the race. With Alex Gillen, I think, back in the session, 2 seconds off the back. He's got Kareem to deal with as well, who's involved in a couple of bumps and scrapes on the opening tour this lap as well.
Couple of interesting things going on. Scotty, from what I can see, cannot rejoin the session. He's been told the session doesn't exist. Meanwhile, in the Twitch chat, I've read the funniest sentence that exists in that. Concept 7 has come in. He says, my chat told me it was a restart. GG's, that's why he retired. I shouldn't laugh, but that's brilliant.
Oh, sorry, Concept. It was all looking so good for all of about 5 seconds. We qualified pretty well. So that's Kareem through on Gillen, who definitely still isn't back in the session. Emphatic battling away with Meraki, with Tukey for the lower points finishes. 14th and 15th, top 15 score points in the Creator Series. They're still going to try and make this one work with a bit of battery. Absolutely blast past the Williams, and that is 14th now for Jake, who's another driver that had some disconnect issues in the opening 7 laps so far. A number of drivers have been dropping out of the session and having difficulties getting back in.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and it's one thing I think we will have to keep an eye on, because it has been the case, I think, over the entirety of this season so far, where drivers have faced with disconnect issues and everything else that seems to be unencumbering them. Sasso on the back of Necruz as well, trying to battle up for 8th place, as Meraki's still just in that sort of weird mid-pack. Ferrari now wants to try and get the overtake done in towards the right-hander. He's alongside of the Visa Cash Out Racing Bull. 2 Italian teams going side by side here. Sasso all the way on the grass on the right-hand side, trying to get as tight a line as he possibly could, but he has got a better run down towards Tarzan, doesn't go for it, almost contact between the two of them. Here comes Fimex, wanting to try and capitalise on that, but he can't quite. Sasso gets a good run though, out of Tarzan, down towards turn number 1. The banking comes a calling, and before that, even has a chance of getting involved. He is past the Visa Cash Out Racing Bull. Fimex still on the back though, as they make their way through. Can the Alpine now try and benefit from the Necruz that is going slowly in towards the Audi S's? The right-hander looks to the outside, does the Alpine car, the left-hander, the inside line favoured, done so for Fimex. Fantastic move for himself.
Superb. Had to be so precise, and both of them you have to give your hats off to Necruz as well, keeping it very clean through that turns 3 and 4 chicane. Now got Adam Sanderson to deal with as well. All these guys on the soft tyre, apart from Sasso in front, who I believe is on the set of the hard compound tyres, just starting to find his groove a little bit as they're singing quite a nice tune. Out in front, still GB from Tom from Ben, who's just hovering underneath the rear wing of that Red Bull. The pole sitter, of course, Tom 97, Ben, who hasn't been here for the last couple of weeks, getting back into it still with a championship to try and fight for 4th place in that, 26 points away from Alex Ginn, who's had his own issues, and I still don't think he's back in the session.
He's not. Just confirmed in the drivers' chat on Discord. Both himself and Scotty Designs, by the way, cannot rejoin this session, so there is a high chance that a restart could happen at this moment in time, but nothing confirmed as it stands. Through the second corner, Timo Mardik on the back of Tom 97. Now, he's done well to catch up to our 2 front runners. Of course, Tom 97 did qualify on pole and continues to run back through. GB still leads this race on lap 9 of 27. There is a chance here, we're being called, that there could be a restart here. It is being called, I believe. We'll wait for full confirmation that it is going to go this way, but Adam Sanderson is still doing the best he can to get up in towards the top 10. The front 3 will not like the idea of a restart here, Tom, because they have got 4.5 seconds advantage.
Yeah, they won't want that to be handed back and eradicated if we do go from lap 1 again. This is still the AI of Alex Gillen battling away with Tukey, who's around the outside. That'll turn to the inside. The AI doesn't usually go down without a fight. Going to try and hang it over the curb, but yeah, you don't want to be out there Tony Hawking, even if it is the AI bottling out and Alex Giddens' AI drops out of the points-paying positions. This is Meraki, who seems a little bit quicker, or considerably quicker actually, than Kareem 70 at this point. Not sure how much damage Kareem's got because he was involved in the incident with Matt 2-on-2, slammed into the side of that guy's instance as well on the opening lap, which sent him spinning backwards and tumbling out of the top 15. He has got that Mercedes. He's looking pretty racy to deal with. Jake trying to recover from his own issues that have befallen him in the first 10 laps.
You're right. I think we are going to get this red flag as well, just waiting for confirmation to come across our screens. Of course, there's a few things in the background that have to happen. Meraki to the inside of Kareem 70 through the opening corner. And a good move from themselves. As much as you like tagging us in the chat saying sim damage is on, I promise you there is zero either me, Tom, Scott, or our producer can do about that. So as we make our way through, but here we go. Confirmation, red flags the race. We will be starting from lap 0 essentially. Qualifying order will be back to the race start. So here we go then, red flag situation for our drivers.
Yes, going again. So we're going to get everybody back in. We're going to get going once again. And yeah, the issues that we have been having with the disconnects and then unable to get back in, hopefully, fingers crossed everybody, that will drop out so we can continue to carry on as we were and we'll be able to have a clean race. It was an exciting start, wasn't it? And all of it now essentially turned into dust.
You've agreed. I've seen grid jokes in the chat saying a restart means this is a new race, let me in. I respect the optimism from him. I think I agree with him. It's very rare that I agree with grid jokes, but I agree with grid jokes.
Who would you kick out? That's the problem. Scott, we can see your lips moving, but you're muted, unfortunately, there, mate.
I've not done that this entire season. No, finally I've been caught. That was fun.
It was.
Means
What was
nothing,
that?
but it was
Oh
fun.
my god, mate, Matt 2-on-2. Oh my god. He's got rear wing damage. When was the last time? Now, again, maybe I need to be educated better on this game. I didn't think you could get side pod and rear wing damage on standard damage. Is that changed now?
Yeah, you can get it. Sim damage is basically standard damage, but with a higher frequency or lesser contact required to be able to get that level of damage.
Load of, can I say bollocks? Oh, I did.
Yeah,
Load of
you've already
bollocks.
said it now.
It's not going to make a difference.
No, that's so unfortunate. Look, I'm all for like damage and stuff in the race, but see, you just can't race with rear wing damage. It's not a skill issue at that point anymore. It's impossible. So he tried to kind of get back into the race. I realized it wasn't going to happen, and that was the end. So he's got quite lucky, to be honest, because the restart is because the drivers can't get back into the lobby, not the fact that standard damage has kind of caused this. Have we always look? As much as I love. Oh, yeah. Do you know what? Let's look at the clips first off. Let's see if this works. Let's go. Me, Joseph. We got this. All right, boom. Okay, this was Matt's start. Let's see. What are you talking? No. It's coming back. It's coming back. What is that? There's no way. All right, there we go. We should be able to see it now, yeah? All right. Nothing happened that he could have prevented. Look at that. Look at that. Let's look just one more time.
I see
Someone
he
on
could
the
have
right.
Prevented it. No, he could have avoided that, Scott. I'm just saying.
Could he?
Yeah. By not entering this race, he would have avoided.
Oh
this.
yeah. To be fair, if he just stayed at home and not been here, this wouldn't have happened.
Exactly.
But look at that. Oh, and honestly, he's been having such bad luck recently. That's just the last thing I want to see. But yeah, as you can see, he's got rear wing damage there. So basically what happens is he trundles his way back into the pits. And then he's kind of just had enough because like what you might do, right? You can see his face. He's so happy. I like Matt, so it's kind of tough to see that. But yeah, side pod damage and the rear wing. He knows it's game over at the end of the day, so that's enough for him. And that's all the clips I've got. But yeah, strange, very strange. I've never seen that happen before. Basically, what I was going to say is, Creator Series is sometimes not the cleanest of racing, okay? Something must have changed recently for this to have happened, because this should be happening every week. Do you get what I'm saying? Something's changed, right?
I agree. There's two more egos on the grid, Scott. I think that's what it is. But I tell you what, chat has never been more active here. I don't know if you've got it up on your screen. My goodness.
No,
this is fun. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I don't speak Italian, so I don't understand half of what you're saying.
We can understand what the emojis are.
Well, no. I'm going
No.
to take every single word that is in Italian, say we're doing a great job on the broadcast and you want nothing to change about that race restart. Am I right?
Because yes, we have. I'm impressed that everyone thinks we have so much control over what goes on.
Oh, I
to be honest.
wish.
Whether it's Lolly that sent you or Ricky or whoever, because that's normally what happens. Fimex as well. Not a lot we can do, lads. If what I will say is, and this isn't an attack on anybody, however, if Lolly, and we know because this has happened before, if Lolly or Ricky or Fimex were in this position where they couldn't rejoin, you wouldn't be in chat putting clown emojis. You'd be in chat saying, we've got to restart, we've got to get it going again. So, can't be one rule for one and one rule for everyone else, lads.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You are 100% right. Yeah, we give every driver the exact same fair treatment that we do. The decisions are not just made by us. We have no say in the decisions. What happens is the Creator Series management, they have a quick huddle, I'm guessing, and I think they need at least usually two of them to agree on a decision together. Is that kind of fair to say, or does one guy just kind of call it?
They call it a huddle. I'm more suspicious that it's a bit more a cuddle than a huddle, but that's besides the point.
But yes, and then they make that decision.
Available huddle.
Yeah, but see if you're mad 2-2, you're very happy right now, okay? And Tom97 as well, he has another chance to kind of sort of play his cards right there, because GB was on one, right, TK?
He was. I mean, there was great starts from everybody on the grid. It's one of those really unfortunate situations that just has to happen because the game is esports ready. And I'm not going to make any more comment about that because I kind of want us to have EA sponsorship again next year.
It's not happening.
No.
It's not happening, TK, okay? I said bollocks, you've just said that. Wilkinson, you get any controversial things to say?
I've already said it. I've called out the entirety of the Italian F1 26 community. So we're all knee deep in it, right? So.
It's Tommaso.
It's just Tom in Italian.
There you go. You learn something new every day, guys. Yeah.
These are our Italian roots. So...
Yeah. So
Gellin.
Yes.
Yeah, I wonder how raging he was throughout that whole process. Do you know, I can't show you the chat, guys, because it's confidential. But see, a few days ago in the Creator Series chat, there's like a wee section, basically. It's just to see like who's going to host the lobby, right? Just kind of normal things, right? And let's see, can I read it word for word? I had zero issues hosting a full lobby just now, so I don't mind hosting this weekend.
The intentions were there.
And you just gotta love it. You gotta love it. He's probably like so bewildered because like that's just proper Gellin, right, Wilkinson? Proper Gellin.
It is. He's proven to struggle on this occasion with hosting a Creator Series lobby. Italian Taylor, I'll hand it back over to you for your thoughts on that one.
Wait, what? Was that me? I didn't hear
Italian Taylor, yeah. Italian Taylor.
I didn't even see that. Italian Taylor. Oh, baby, I love that. Okay.
I want the next Grand Prix review to come out in Italian, please.
Oh, right. Okay, I'll learn that. Okay, I'll learn some Italian, and I'll do that for my next song review. 100%. Let's talk about what I think was one of the most thrilling sprint races I've ever watched in my life earlier today with the Real F1 Netherlands. Wasn't that just the most exciting, drama-filled, chaos, brilliant race you've ever seen in your life?
I didn't watch it.
You missed nothing.
I was driving home. Someone said it was the most boring 24 laps. I was like, I'm not even going to watch the highlights. It's not worth it.
God, I've been waiting for F1 all month, and we got 2 overtakes. That was crazy.
Charles Leclerc was pretty good. So there you go.
Yeah.
Deploying Ferrari.
That was one of the two.
So...
Soft tires lasted. Didn't think they were going to last, to be fair. So yeah, that was good. Oh my God, I love Netherlands as well. But I was just sitting there almost falling asleep going, what are we watching? The cars looked good. To be fair though, it was nice seeing Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson not doing like too bad for their like quick. It's so nice seeing Tsunoda back. Is that just me?
No, I agree. It's nice seeing them back. It's nice seeing them race.
Yeah.
Can't really discount it too much, I'll be honest.
Yeah, well, if that's what the race is going to be like tomorrow, oh my God, I'm going to have nothing to sing about, and you guys are going to have nothing to watch for 1.5 hours. I so hope I'm wrong, because
it's
like
just going to be 90 seconds of screaming from Scott.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. It's just I can't predict this season, right? I can't. This is becoming the F1 podcast, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
I can't predict this season. like the races I think are going to be so amazing or not, and then these random races just come out of nowhere and they're very exciting. And I was convinced that Netherlands was going to be a really good race for these new regulations. Was I just talking rubbish, Tom Wilkinson? You said two Toms. That's why I need to say Wilkinson all the time.
Look, when you drive Zandvoort, it can be pretty nice because you are at 100% a lot of the time. The problem is it's hard to follow. There's not many heavy braking zones where you can sort of manufacture a move. There's not many places in high speed you can manufacture a move either. And with the way that battery works as well, it's just, yeah, it doesn't give us the best possible action. It doesn't create the scenarios where we can go racing. We can have battles like we've seen in the past few races, for example. So I'm not surprised, even though the influence of Max Verstappen is obviously huge, that it is being thrown in the bin for the foreseeable.
It's tough. I saw it, and also like, let's just go full on F1 as well. Why not? Like, the creators are giving us nothing right now, so we might as well go real life F1. The re-signs, the contracts, Max Verstappen back at Red Bull for 4 more years. I was a tiny bit surprised. Maybe I got caught up with all the rumor gate of him going elsewhere. But TK, was this always going to happen?
I wish I knew, Scott. I wish I was inside Red Bull's camp and had all of that information. On the plus side, it means Red Bull keep their fan base for another 4 years.
Yes.
On the downside, they've definitely spent a load of money to try and keep Max Verstappen for 4 more years.
Like, right? And did you see the interview with Total Wolf? He actually looked raging. I was like, wait, is he just playing into the politics, the drama and all that stuff? Or was that actually going to happen? I look, I'm not the biggest Russell fan. I don't mind him. But having Antonelli and Verstappen as a teammate would have been the greatest gift you could ever give us. They would have hated each other. It would have been carnage. It would have been Hamilton, Rosberg, like 100%, right?
Would have been fun. Would have been box office.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I need a bit of that.
Those collisions would have been interesting as well because you put Toto in a position where who does he support? You know,
neither.
Does he support the guy, the prodigy that he's brought through, or does he support the big signing? The best driver on the grid. So
That's a tough choice. I'm a Drive to Survive guy, right? You can slate me all you want, but that's how I got into it. See, I'm not getting the rivalries that I want. Everyone's too blooming nice recently. Don't get me started on the last year with the 2 McLarens. That was brutal. That was absolutely brutal. Like, they could have given us the most exciting season of our lives, but we got absolutely nothing. Feel like I'm getting a little bit with Russell and Antonelli as well, even though I'm all for Antonelli to win. It's probably going to happen. I love it. But I just... obviously, I don't want anyone to get hurt. I don't. But can we get some little bit of drama, right?
I want to see wheels blowing off of a Toro Rosso heading down to turn 1 where they just go bang. There's a reason people love it.
Like, there's also, and do you know what I'm noticing with these new regs? Maybe it's because the cars are slower. A lot less safety cars. And no rain, but that's got nothing to do with the regulations. I just can't believe we've got to August and we've not had a single wet session. How crazy is that, Wilkinson?
It's disappointing because I would have liked to see how it would have gone. The thing that we have with wet races that I need to turn into Jonathan Ross with wet races is that if you're Italian or any other nationality, you won't understand that. I'm sorry, but the wet races, yes, we get action, but we have a lot of down periods as well, especially when it's not changeable. So we have the frantic, we go from dry to inters, we go from inters to full wets, and then we go back sometimes as well. But in between that, because it's so difficult to follow and it's so difficult to make the overtakes, it's so difficult to get close because the drivers can't see anything, we do get that bit of a lull. And there's not really much strategy either because the wet tyres are terrible. So nobody's going to use the wet tyres unless it's an absolute monsoon.
True. And TK, like, if you were saying that this game kind of emulated the new cars quite well. If they've nailed the wet weather, it's not the most exciting in this game, right?
Neither is driving the 26 cars anyway. So,
and it's broken.
Scott, I'll make you a deal here. This is a genuine promise that we've noticed over the course of every season so far. If you see a straight line mode open during the race, I'll pay you a $5.
Like, it's a feature, okay? It's a feature, and the game's perfect, and it's all works well, and EA Sports do listen to opinions on how to fix things. They do. You just don't really do anything.
Alex Gillen put out a really good video earlier going through all the
Did he?
bugs. It was problematic that it was about 25 minutes long. But yeah, that's what we need, isn't it?
Yeah, he's good at that stuff, right? He is, as much as we make fun of Gillen and stuff like that, he is really quite good at really getting into the root of a cause and doing a good video. So no doubt he'll be hammering that. And, obviously, guys, tag EA all the time. You never know. Something might happen and you might get a little bit closer to the kind of product you want. I understand we are getting back into the lobby, guys, so we will be getting there soon. Call of Arms, make sure you follow us so you can see more of this riveting the F1 podcast, baby. It's coming back. Oh my God, George Russell sucks. Verstappen's great. Like, oh my God, life is back and it's great, TK.
Yay!
Yeah.
I have nothing more to add to that. Although Joseph has been corrected on his Italian joke-making name. Apparently they've spelled our names wrong, which, I'll be honest, in the grand scheme of things, is probably not the biggest issue we have right now.
Yeah, we're having one of those Creator Series streams where problems happen, right? They do. I remember we've done this so many times, TK, and we just adapt and we move on and we grow. Is that 2.5 years now? That's crazy. We're getting so old. I love it. Wilkinson, when was your first Creator Series stream?
I did it. It was an F2 race.
Nice. Same as us.
On 23, yeah. It was probably that first season. What was that? Season 5 of like actual Creator Series.
I love that. And look where we've came. It's wonderful. It's great. Now we have F1 26, the DLC. Oh my God, it's so good.
This is what happens when you make a wait for the lobby restart so much.
Yeah.
Just lose all semblance of everything.
Look, I've been filtered for too long. Okay, guys, if you've ever seen my stream, I'm a very opinionated person. The Scott Taylor that I am on this stream is very different to my normal. Gareth had to sit me down. Yes, evil Taylor. He had to sit me down and say, "Can you please not bring half of what I say into this stream?" And he was right, to be fair. He was right, because I would have got us cancelled quite quickly, to be fair. If you want to see more than that, then you can see evil Taylor doing his thing every Saturday night. All right, so let's get back to the race. We're going to get back to the commentators. Let's go have a fun race. If there's any more issues, I'm out. So see you later, guys.
Well, we'll come back over to us. We've left the evil Taylor away. He will
No,
come
you
back.
can't call him a clown. No.
I'm the clown, apparently, according to the chat down below. And again, just a reminder to any Italians in the chat, we don't control any of this. So feel free to email razinchai@creatorseries.gg, and all of those emails will be looked at. I promise you of that. But let's look ahead to the race. 72 more laps of racing to come. Hopefully, 72 more laps where the Italians don't have a go at us in Twitch chat.
I'm sorry to all of you, but we're taking quali grid, so I'm pretty sure Lolly's back down in P15. But this is what we need to say before we get started. Qualifying, it doesn't matter. Remember back to Austria a few weeks ago, GB and Ben started on the back row. Where did they finish? They finished first and second. It gives Lolly some better content. He gets to work his way through better. He gets the celebration as well at the end from going to 15th to 1st. So just chill. Quali doesn't matter. It's all going to kick off later. We'll have some carnage. Map 2 on 2 might end up upside down again if he tries that squeeze like he did at the start of the race. So let's just chill and let's have a bit of fun, Let's just enjoy ourselves.
As I had to say at the weekend, it's not that deep. It's not that serious. But we welcome you back to the Team McMurdoch series here in Zandvoort Reverse.
Because he benefited so much.
So much It was all us all along that was manipulating the grid from afar up here in the commentary box that is hundreds of miles away from Circuit to Zandvoort. But nonetheless, hopefully we can go racing because they were told to ready up about 5 minutes ago. So we
started the official race about 35 minutes ago. So whatever. Oh, we got excited then, didn't we?
We've been had.
Fabio in the chat, not Infratic in the chat. Fabio in the chat's got it. Go Italian Stallion Lolinoba. That's what we're after. Get behind him. He's going to pull off some amazing overtakes. You don't just want to get past everyone on lap 1. That's boring.
Absolutely. There's 72 laps. That is 72 potential chances to send an overtake down the inside where it probably doesn't belong and have some fun with it. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Def Not Jazz says, can't wait for my dinner. I'm hungry. You know what? Same.
I haven't.
I was
I haven't
hoping for this
eaten
about
either.
2 hours ago. Maybe not, but hey ho.
Carl's getting, well, welcoming Carl, by the way. Hopefully the escapades that you were up to today were extremely successful. Getting Chinese, going to be horizontally challenged by Monday.
I respect it.
I'll just leave that one there.
Jazz, who's in the chat, is vertically challenged. Anyway, moving on.
If you're a football fan, any Man United fans in there, talk to me. How are you feeling?
Let's move on from that, shall we? Because there is a race about to happen. Here is Zandvoort Reverse. It is the second running of this race. 5 lights are indeed lit. The lights go out, and we go racing. It's Top 97 that starts from the front again. GB68 trying to chase him down in towards this opening corner. This time, there's no carnage with pit wall, but in towards the opening corner. Ryan 83 already on the back of the lean green racing machine. Here comes Alex Gillen, refreshed and renewed from his ventures into the lobby. 2 wide they run down towards what will be turn 3. The right-hander, both McLarens trying to battle it out with Alex Gillen. Daco Vince as well, not far off the back of the back. Demon Marduk, a little bit of contact there with Alex Gillen as there's little bits of dust and dirt kicked up. Demon Marduk throwing his teammate Ryan 83 in towards the inside. Trying to get the better of Gillen, does get the better of Gillen, but Gillen has the inside for the left-hander here. Can he get a good enough traction? Not this time. Both Alpines are fighting further back. Daco Vincent Fimex, Concept 7, freshly renewed in himself, is up past his teammate, or he was for a minute, as the Cruz come past him, up to 9, holds that one. Concept 7 will not believe in chat this time around.
Alpine's in combat as well. Fimex, good start, batting away, has to go the long way around, does he? There's Kareem who sends it down the inside as well. Look at that, 2 V-carbs into each other. Coming off second best is Concept 7, who tumbles down outside of the top 10, almost outside of the top 15. Good start for Lolly up into P11. Good start for Jake to P12 as well. Safso lost a whole load of places to P19, but still Tom 97 leading the way. But it was Gillen and Ryan tripping over each other, rolled out the red carpet for Ben to come through. The problem is they've given Tom and GB an opportunity to try and scamper off, as I think Gillen was potentially thinking about a look into turn 2.
I think he was. Keep an eye on Karim as well. Only 700ths of a second off the back of Fimex through the opening few corners, so that could be an overtake starting to work its way forward. Davide DeCipio, past Scotty Designs, by the way. 416th on the grid, so the Audi dropping down as Safso tries to challenge him as well. We watch here with Krim 70, his teammate, trying to go around the outside of Fimex through what is traditionally, I believe, turn number 9, the Vodafone corner, into Renault, the right-hander, and up towards Marlborough. This is the reverse of 6 and 7. It's Alex Gillen up ahead of Timo Marduk onto the podium places for himself. Fimex trying to battle it out and hold off Lottie Nova and Ricky 03 as both Italians once again are going to be fighting it out and trying everything to work as a pair here, because of course they've not got 1, they've not got 2, there is 3 Italians in a row. There's a joke there somewhere about that, but Cruz at the moment is the one that is trying to stop them, holds the outside line, but it's not going to be enough, or is it for the time being? Still stands ahead of Fimex. Meraki here on the back of Lottie Nova to the inside of Tarzan. Meraki wanting to try and take it away, and he does so up towards the top 10. That was stunning.
Really close, still all to play for though. Look at this 4 clustered heading down into turn 1. Lolly spots the gap to the outside. That's a little bit brave. Now has to duck back over to left. He wants to pick up at least 1 place here. Felix back to P8 after the contact between himself and Cream on the previous lap. Jake again laid on the brakes, this time into turn 3. Just spooks Felix into giving him an absolute load of space. Chappers off the road. Now the squeeze employed for Meraki, who gets bulked behind Fimex. And now he's got Italians all over him. To the outside goes Lolly. There's Necru sending it very late on the brakes as well. Absolute bedlam as Jake's going to give Fimex a piece of his own mind. And into the grass goes the Alpine. Necruz helps himself. Off in the background goes Ricky, who gets a shoulder barge into the gravel. And that's last week's race winner tumbling to 16th. Make it 70.
That was Italian on Italian action. That was Lolly Nova, I believe, just barging Ricky 03 out of the way. So no love lost between the 2 Italians at the moment as they run down towards our traditional turn 3. And we watch the ball with Lolly Nova. He's got Fitmex to his right-hand side. Necruz to his left. He is boxed in as they make their way in towards the banking. Which way is he going to try and go? Fimex is past Necruz as well, running down towards Tarzan corner. Little bit of a wiggle for Lolly Nova. Looks towards the inside, tries to hold the inside, but can't quite have it. Here comes Infratic, the Portuguese man, wanting to try and get involved in this action for the top 10. Creating the distance is past Daco Vince in towards the opening corner. Any moves made on the banking. Lolly Nova looks to the outside, does hold the outside, tries it still for the double left-hander. He's alongside of Necruz. He'll have the inside. inside line for the right-hander, but here comes in Fratic round the outside of the right-hander in towards the LDSs. Can Fratic steal it? No, not this time around. Concept 7 looking very renewed himself. He's on the back of the Portuguese man, looks to send it down the inside of the Portuguese man, and as they run side by side up towards Renault and towards Marlborough, it's spin, round goes, I believe that's Concept 7, and Fratic caught out by it, front left end plate missing, and that is going to be a move to forget. 10-second penalty as well, coming the way of Concept 7. That feels a little bit harsh.
Well, I was going to say that's a slam dunk. I think he just chopped across Fabio while the Williams was still there, taking himself out of contention, giving Fabio a big load of damage as well. And both of them taken out of that almighty scrap in the midfield that suddenly had a few contenders relegated out of it. 2.5 seconds the gap from the leading duo back to this trio. A handful of McLarens with Alex Gillen leading them. Kareem 17 very quick at this stage as well. He's managed to get himself within 1 second of this group. Ben with a little look over. Meraki up to P7 at the expense of that go. It's now to the inside of turn number 2. Gillen pinging onto it around the outside. Bit of tie-to-tie contact. Leaves Ben a little bit out of shape, but matters not as he catches the slide and continues on his merry way.
I don't want to be someone that is going to start to spread rumours here, Tom, but Tukey has slowed down dramatically to the point where he's almost on a lap behind. I wonder if he's going to help out Tom 97 here. GB has made the move past in towards race lead. He's back under racing speed. I wonder if there's just a few moments there for Tukey as he did slow down. I wonder if there was going to be some inter-team play from the American, but nonetheless at the moment, up at the front, GB still running his way through.
Absolutely, still 2 and a bit seconds ahead of Gillen, Ben, Ryan, and then you've got Kareem 17 with Meraki further second and a half back down the road. The Italians still taking pieces out of one another. Vince getting involved in that and dragged into that scrap as well. 8th, 9th and 10th, Vince Fimex and Lolanova battling very, very hard. Necru's still in that little skirmish as well, just behind the trio in P11. Sasso trying to make up for problems on the opening lap. Same with Infratic and Concept, who had a bit of contact about 90 seconds or so ago. But GB leading the way. Chapper's out of the session. So the Aston Martins and the Red Bulls bookending this race as that's Alpine's going forward and backwards. It's Datko, it's getting mugged by a pair of Italians. And now Necruz has a little look to the outside. But Fimex and Lolly through. Vince drops up another couple of places.
Certainly looks at the moment, and just confirmation there, Tukey had the couple of spins which just drops him right down the order, and continuing to do so. GB is starting to make his way towards that, the second Red Bull on circuit. We watch and ride with Datko Vince making their way down towards the right-hander of Vodafone. We'll see if there's any moves made. Lonnie Nova does get past his Italian cousin of Fimex and up towards 8th place for the Cadillac. The Alpine will have to sit pretty in 9th with Datko Vince, his teammate, not far off the back, who's battling the Cruise as well. Davide Scipio and Riccio 3 not far apart from one another as we still watch here with Fimex. He's not far off the back of Lolly Nova and wanting to try and get involved in this fight because, of course, he doesn't want to let Lolly Nova run away with this as much as he possibly can. We're being told Vince wants to restart for his setup.
Well, unfortunately, he's going to have to make do with what's going on there. This is Adam Sanderson, who was embroiled in that little contact between Concept and Fabio a couple of laps ago. Innocent bystander, but it dropped him a couple of places. Matt 2-on-2 down in 16th as well. At least he's in the race this time though, eh? Despite starting from P6, he still tumbled through the field also. As there are still the 2 Alpine cars. Vince with his wrong setup, or terrible setup, struggling for pace as Ricky through to P12, was 16th a few laps ago after taking a trip through the gravel. Now with Davide in between the 2 Ferraris, and Scotty just clinging on to the back of them as well.
Scotty's doing well in this race. You have to hand it to him. Up to 15th, well within the points-paying positions for the Creator Series, and hoping to do well and maybe capitalise on a few mistakes. Safso looking for a move on Davide Scipio. He was close enough, maybe to send a move to the inside of Vodafone. Not this time though, just plays the patient game and wants to try and take the advantage to the left-handers of Renault and Marlborough. Turns 8 and 7 traditionally on this circuit where it is so easy just to lose the car and try and Tony Hawk it across the curbs. Watch up in front, Riccio 3 is starting to gain some time. Up to the Visa Cash Out Racing Bull in 11th, Matt 2-on-2. Dispatching Scotty Designs, by the way, who also has more connection issues as Netcruise is past that guy. Vince Safso is past Davide Scipio inside for Matt 2-on-2. He sent that from a different postcode, but he made it work. The post has been delivered.
Threw it down the inside. Bit of a desperate move considering it's the AI of Scotty, but you can tell that he was absolutely churning to try and get past and didn't want to be held up or hampered at all. Doesn't want to lose any more race time as it's now Adam that's got to deal with the AI of Scotty. Still this two churning away out in front as well. GB from Tom 97, half a second, 0.3 of a second, separating this pair. Still the same gap, maybe come down a little bit, just under 2 seconds now between Tom and Alex Gillen, with the two McLarens and Cream very much hot-footing it after the championship leader.
You're absolutely right. As they continue to make their way through, we see everybody just starting to figure themselves out. Adam Sanson, Pascal designs his AI car as well. Fimex wanting to try and figure themselves out as they battle on through. Top 97 up at the front here with GB, but I think we've got a little lull in proceedings here, Tom. I think it is an opportunity to go over to the Italian tailor, the evil tailor himself, which is an insider source for us.
Do indeed. Let's look at what happened to Chappers. I'm going to give you a few more seconds to look at that. It's Tukey behind him, just takes him out. The face of a raging man, nothing more he could do there. That was basically the end of his race start. After that, we then had the one that you want to see. It's Fabio. Let's look at this. All right, so Fabio coming round. Concept was involved. Not really much Fabio could have done here. You'll see what Concept does. Heads into him, takes him out, and gives us a bit of damage as well. Thankfully, Fabio doesn't have too much damage, but there certainly is a tiny bit there. So Concept was probably deserved to get that 10-second penalty, I think. But yeah, that's all I've got.
Beautiful stuff, and we run back towards the race. We're on lap 9 of 72. We are officially 1/8 of the way through this Grand Prix. It feels like a bit of a slow one, doesn't it? Where we're racing here at Zandvoort. There's so many laps. It's not necessarily the fastest flowing circuit, where you traditionally have, I don't know, Monza, for example, that is a longer lap time but feels faster. It's a bit of a deceptive one, isn't it, Tom?
Yeah, and you mentioned we've got that little bit of a lull as well, because people have just started to fan out a tad more. We can see just behind them, Matt's Gillen and Ben getting very, very close for comfort. Not for the first time in the Creator Series. Through the banked turn number 12. And still, nose to tail, GB and Tom 97 as well. Just trying to work together in a bit of a stalemate at this stage. As Tukey's retired, not sure where that is. I think it's in the pits. This is going to be the change for the lead again. Potentially Tom to the outside. GB doesn't fight that one. Working together to try and keep that gap at around 2 seconds between himself and that secondary chasing group. I think he's going to have to hand that one back courtesy of the yellow flags, and does.
That is an unfortunate situation. Not only is it a yellow flag, but a yellow flag caused by his teammate. Tom 97 will not be happy with that situation. We watch it with Matt 2-2 on the back of Davide De Scipio, down towards turn 3, the right-hander. A lot of them just recharging the battery. The lift and coast coming into effect as they try and figure out how best to run this race. Of course, we are not going to have any intentional safety cars, which, you know, you'd hope not many would come out in a Creator Series race anyway. But a track like Zandvoort, don't ever count out the unintentional safety cars. The walls do sometimes come closer than you think, especially through the final 2 corners, which are, well, traditionally the final 2 corners. Turns 12 and 13. But anything can happen in the CS race. We've learned that. I think the hard way is probably the best way to put this, Tom.
Many times over the years, but look at the lead group. That gap has been slashed half between Tom 97 and Gillen after that little yellow flag problem. I don't think he's going to get the overtake mode as Ben dives to the inside. Late lunge from Ben, a little bit of tyre-to-tyre contact again. This time both drivers keeping it pointing in the right direction. No real wobbles there, no real driver put offline or out of kilter. Gillen maybe pushed slightly wide by the contact, but matters not as they continue to try and chase down this duo in front. I wonder if that wasn't necessarily the smartest move there from Ben, just costing Gillen a little bit of time as they're desperately trying to reform this train. They've been given a golden opportunity, a golden ticket after the yellow flag conundrum to get themselves back on level terms with GB and Tom.
You're absolutely right, and I think as we start to get into this period of the race, we're in that sort of management mode, aren't we? It's the weird middle ground of any F1 sim racing broadcaster, of course, the Creator Series broadcast as well, where there's nothing necessarily happening. They've just got to try and manage where they are on track. They want to try and remove Alex Gillen from that 1 second mark to not allow him to have overtake over the course of the lap. But then you've also got to figure out how you use your own battery. You don't want to attack too early because we are well and truly nowhere near halfway through this race yet. There's a lot still to happen, a lot still to develop. Whereas, you know, in a traditional more 50% racing under league racing rules, you'd start to get to this point now where pit stops might start to happen, and we'd have something maybe starting to sum its way up.
And we know the soft tyres aren't great either, they don't last particularly long, so we'll have to wait and see when people want to chuck those in the bin. But the gap's converging because that's Gillen within 1 second. This is Tom again having a look maybe to the middle of the road. GB on the left-hand side, and will keep hold of the lead of the race. Just behind, you can see the two McLarens closely fought. Tim McMullen now 1.2 seconds off the back of Alex Gillen. So as Gillen's got himself into the 1 second of GB and Tom, he's dropped Ben behind out of that 1 second. He's now going to have to try and work his socks off to get back into it and reform the train once more.
Absolutely right. And as we continue to work our way through, we seem to have Safso there with Ricciardo off the back of him. They started to form up once again. Well, there was an equidistant gap between Map 2 and 2, Ricciardo and Davide Scipio there for a moment. All of them at 1.311 seconds apart. A lovely bit of symmetry on here at the circuit at the moment. The question will be, will the Ferraris work together? Will Safso maybe try and hamper Ricciardo's progress? Because Lottie Noba has been stuck in somewhat no man's land at the moment, hasn't found the time to Meraki that he would have liked, and they know they can't bank on that traditional late safety car. Just a reminder of the rules, and oh my goodness, that was one of the Alpines off. That was Fimex running well and truly through the grass as he misjudges the corner. Easy to do on a reverse circuit that you haven't necessarily practiced for. Safso looking for a move potentially. Timo Marduk first to pit then. As we were going to say, all three dry compounded tyres have to be used if you have just joined us. And behind Ricciardo 3 comes in to join him.
Yeah, and Vince was in the grass as well, so that was Fimex basically following his teammate off the road. Safso, who's on the hard compound tyres as he was previously, should be blasting past Fimex here. Had a good exit out of tyres and does pick up that 9th place to get himself in between the two Alpine cars. Map 2 on 2, a further second and a half back down the road, also on the hard compound tyres. But we are, like you said, getting to the point where the soft tyres are going to be feeling a little bit average. That's into turn 5, I believe. Little look to the inside for Tom 97. Didn't quite have the overspeed, didn't quite have the confidence under braking to really get a foothold in that little scrap. So GB will continue to lead us on, but Gillen just edging ever closer as these two debate first and second.
I think this battle is going to continue to rage on, and actually the closer Alex Gillen gets, the more feisty this is going to have to get. Yellow flags in the first sector. I think that was just Davide Scipio having a bit of a moment on fresh Compano tyres. You see GB just holding off Tom 97. Alex Gillen well and truly within the fray of this fight now. They don't want to invite any more attendees to this party because 3 is a crowd, 4, well, anything more than that gets a little bit messy. Meraki past Karim 70 up to 5th place, and oh my goodness, what was that as he, by the looks of it, bailed on a pit stop right at the very end. Monstrous damage to Meraki there, but surely something's gone through his head.
Yeah, Karim disconnected, and I don't think he was there. I think that was, well, completely caught Jake by surprise, ruined his race as well because of the front wing damage. Mentioned it earlier as Gillen's through on Tom 97 in the battle for 2nd and 3rd. Yes, he has managed to slide his way through, gets a love tap from behind as he tries to confirm that. Gillen wants to get a shift on here. Ben's gone for the undercut. He's put one over on Tom. Now he goes the long way around on GB68 through turn number 5. It will eventually turn to the inside if he can stay side by side, push to the extremities of the road, but no further, and does complete that move. So Gillen up to the lead. There was a little opportunity maybe for GB to get a good run through 6, but he doesn't. And Gillen pulling punches here. But yeah, Kareem's been having internet issues, disconnect issues. He was struggling yesterday when he was streaming with a lot of crashes. So I think that might just plague his chances even more.
We've had a few people, haven't we, that have been plagued by technical and hardware issues. Alex Gillen, not one of them. As it stands at the moment, GB wanting that position back. You can see him starting to get a little bit more aggressive in the mirrors of Alex Gillen. Tom 97 is still joining them, of course, and in towards Tarzan for the 14th time. We've still got a number of laps to go here in this Grand Prix. Of course, the mandatory 2-stop strategy that will have to come our creators race. Meraki and Krim both this time in, which was to be expected at least for a bare minimum of Meraki suffering that front wing damage. It will, well, invoke him to have a somewhat slow stop.
They're going to drop about 5 seconds. Not sure if Kareem would have had any damage on that one, but we'll have to wait and see if they still end up fighting over the same piece of tarmac when they emerge from the pit lane. But this trio continuing to soldier on. 10-second penalty for Concept. Whether he throws in the towel, we'll have to wait and see. Tim McMurdoch 13th at the moment. Decent pace on those brand new medium tyres. Should get the track position courtesy of that undercut that he's pulled over these guys, and there's been a little bit of squabbling for position going on as well. But interesting because Ben usually likes to go a little bit long. We've seen it a couple of times this season himself and Alex Gillen, in fact, going long. Retirement for Fabio in the pits with those yellow flags out, and that's the second driver to jump out of the session. Fabio involved in a bit of contact that wasn't necessarily his fault, and that has pretty much ruined his charges. GB now down the inside into 12 through the banking. Gillen tries to keep in there, but eventually has to relent and give the lead back up to the Aston.
I know we normally question at this point in time who we think is going to win this race. I think the question we have to pivot to is how many people are going to retire from this race at the moment. Of course, all of them will have to do it in the pits. unless it is an unintentional crash in towards barrier. Here comes Gillen around the outside of the opening corner of the reverse Zandvoort. That is the Williams car of Infrati going slowly on the inside, which isn't what he would have wanted to see, but Gillen still on the back of GB, sends it into turn 3, goes very deep indeed, very, very deep indeed. GB still holds it inside line for the left. That is a great bit of defensive work from GB to hold Alex Gillen as best as he possibly can. And as they run up towards the right-hander of Vodafone, he holds that inside line. But the question will be, how are his tyres? Has he looked after them in this opening stint with Tom 97? Of course, Tom 97 pitting last time around. Here is Scotty Designs, by the way, and Adam Sanderson through the same section of corners, through the Audi S's. And will it be the Audi that does well this time around? It looks to be just about. They've got Team Marduk chomping at the bit to try and get past as best they can. They try and go around the outside of Adam Sanderson. Will Adam Sanderson open up any opportunity? Contact between Ben and Scotty as the Australian trying to push the Scotsman through this set of corners. He's past Sanderson. He's not past Scotty yet.
And he's lost a load of time to Tom. We already came out 2 seconds, or Tom came out 2 seconds ahead of Ben. Now Ben's getting caught up in this traffic. Ryan in the same boat as well, was 2 seconds off the back of the lead trio. Needs to try and get a shift on, get a hurry up as he sends it to the inside of Sanderson into turn number 12 through the banking. Makes it work. Twin slides there as Kareem just in the background, who definitely didn't get damage. Now hot on the heels of the Papaya cars as well. And Sanderson getting out of the way into the pit lane. That leaves Scotty exposed to 3 cars that are desperately going to try and pass him by the time we get to the braking zone at turn 2. Adam actually destroys there the polystyrene brake board and the pit lane speed limit him up, but through go a brace of McLarens. And I think Kareem, yes, Scotty lets Kareem fly on through as well, but nearly 4 seconds off the back of Tom.
Could be enough, I think, from Scotty, what Scotty's done to hold up everyone else, to allow Kareem to try and catch up. We know they will play the team game, probably above any other team on this grid, maybe the exception of Team Marduk and Ryan L83. They are the best of friends that we know on and off of stream. They enjoy each other's company. And of course, when they do race, they are probably the friendliest on the bunch. Concept 7 retires, and that also is in pit road. So we've lost now 3 drivers out of this Grand Prix. We're down to 19 running. Fair play to Chappers, who is still going, albeit 15 seconds off the back of the majority of the pack. In comes Gillen for their first stop of the afternoon, so allows GB to go a little bit longer than himself. Scotty's still on the back of Crim 17, but 1.3 seconds off the back. If we jump up forwards, we might be able to see the moves that are happening. Alex Gillen already in. We've mentioned Fimex in as well. So a couple of drivers now making their early pit stops. What has this done for the championship, and what has this done for the race? Where will Team Marduk come out in comparison with Alex Gillen? Where will Ben be? Where will Alex be? It's getting very close on the exit. Very, very close indeed. But it is just Gillen that's ahead by a nose.
Ahead of Ryan, who's disposed of his teammate, but Gillen's now 4 seconds off the back of Tom as well. So a really weird pit stop phase where Tom managed to get a massive overcut on Ryan and on Team Marduk, but then the undercuts worked to get himself ahead of Alex Gillen. So Ben must have been caught up in a little bit more traffic than we necessarily saw at first glance, but he is still very much in the game with Gillen and should still be in the ballpark with GB when he peels into the pits, probably in a couple of laps' time, maybe even on this lap as well.
I think you're certainly right, and as we continue to work our way through the Grand Prix, the question is going to be asked, at what point do we start to see the carnage unfold? We're about quarter race distance as it stands. That just means there's a lot more to come in this Grand Prix. We expect maybe their second stops come around lap 30, maybe lap 40, if they want to try and go for that 2-stop strategy. If they don't, they might go for the 3-stop. It's not necessarily unexpected, should we say, at this moment in time, because the battle, as it continues to hot up, it will just abuse the tyres more and more and more.
And Gillen trying to take chunks out of Tom as well. Gillen on the mediums, we need to remember. Tom on the hard tyres as Ryan sets the fastest lap of the race. I think Tim Marduk might be at the mercy of Kareem 70 as well, as those two just behind this duo with nose to tail. Kareem spotting a gap to the inside. Will Ben fight this around the outside of 2? A little bit of contact, not for the first time for either of these drivers in this race. Ben then gets out of it on the run into turn 3. Kareem, I think, wasn't expecting that. Goes way too deep into the braking zone, but eventually slams the anchors on and does get past Ben, who now falls to the back of this group. And the problem is, Gillen's absolutely checked out. 2.5 now clear of Ryan.
This is absolutely what Gillen wants to do. He knows how this game's played. He knows how to work the drivers and work the field. And if he can get that gap and separate himself from the rest of the field, then he's absolutely going to do so. Crim 70 off the back as they both pass through Ryan L83. This is Scotty Designs, by the way, still trying to fight it out with Ricky 03. Doesn't look like much of a competition there at the moment, I must admit. Ricky 03 making that one look easy on the Audi car, dropping down to 12th place. Here's Krem 70, his teammate, trying to hold off Timo Marduk. Only 3/10 behind him as they make their way down towards Tarzan corner. Can Karim do better than his teammate as it stands? Scores Scotty, I believe, still to make his first pit stop of the afternoon. We are not necessarily not expecting safety cars. I think that's one way to put it. But we wouldn't expect as many as a traditional Creator Series lobby.
Might be a little bit calmer come the back end of the race, I think is the best way to think about it. And still nose to tail, Kareem and Ben, with Ryan now a second and a half back down the road. Should point out, and I've just found out, that Ben had some front wing damage. That's why he was slow through the pit stop phase, had a slow stop, had to get that replaced. So he's actually done quite well to get himself in a similar position to where he was when he made that stop, and that might explain why he's had a little bit more work than why he's had to push the tyres a little bit harder to keep himself in the fray.
Absolutely, Karim. Still just playing that defensive game, not wanting to allow the Australian passer on L83 near enough back in overtake detection point. Of course, needs to be within 1 second of the car in front to be able to use that extra bit of battery boost and extra bit of electrical energy that will charge those motors up to the nth degree. Timo Marduk 2.5 tenths now behind. Krim 70 in towards the banked right-hander. Back towards Tarzan again. It's unchanged over the course of this lap. Matt 2-on-2 has made good progress, and Lolly Noba, though, in down the start finish straight. Matt 2-on-2 is alongside and ahead of Lolly Noba, going in towards the opening banking. It's Matt 2-on-2. Can they hold it? That inside line is tighter, and it's a shorter run. Does well to maintain second place. And Matt 2-on-2 does well up into the second step of the podium. Surely, though, Lolly Noba will not allow that to stay for long.
You wouldn't think so, but Matt on the hard tyres compared to Lolly's ailing softs. Safso also on the hard compound tyres, and then you've got the race leaders catching these guys pretty darn quickly as well. So Lolly surely at some stage is going to be thinking about getting off those almost dead soft compound tyres. GB's pace out front is still strong, considering that he hasn't boxed either, but that's Tom 97, and that's Alex Gillen just in the very background of shot as well as they came through turns 6 and 7.
Absolutely, Safso not far off the back of Lolly Noba, and Tom 97 starting to pick up pace. Here comes Safso, incrementally closer to Lolly Noba this time around. He likes to move to the inside of the banked right-hander. He'll do it again. Contact between himself and the Cadillac. Through comes Tom 97 now, trying to make waves where there's a little bit of a paddle. Does so well. And Lolly Noba straight into the pits at the end of this lap, deciding but he doesn't want to take those tyres any further. Yellow flags in the second sector on the Mercedes going slowly. That's Adam Sanderson. He's got the car going again, but both GB and Lolly Noba into the pits at the end of this lap. Here's Tom 97 now on the back of Safso, making their way through the banking and out of turn 3 down towards turn 4, the right-hander. Can they try and hold it? They do try and hold it very nicely. Sorry, this is turn 3, the right-hander. Through the Audi S's up to second. It won't be long, I'm almost certain of it, that he's passed Matt 2-1-2 in towards the right-hander of Vodafone. Traditionally turn 9 here at Zandvoort. And Tom 97 just playing that patient game.
So the undercut has given this duo around about, what, maybe 8, 9, 10 seconds over GB in that pit stop phase. So that's what GB's going to have to try and make up with the tyre offset that he has gone for, unless we do see a safety car at some point. But you can see here, Tom, with so much more grip and so much more confidence, Gil will want to get a shift on as well, give Safso the hurry up. He doesn't want Tom 97 escaping into the distance, but he's down the inside into turn 12 through the banking, yet to pit Matt 2-on-2 on the hard tyres, and that is very easy, you have to say. So Tom back up into the lead. Matt 2-on-2 and Safso on hards yet to stop. Then comes Alex Gillen, who's trying to chase down Tom 97 still. Medium tyres for Gillen, hard tyres for Tom. Doesn't want to lose too much time in this traffic.
You're absolutely right. The question will be, can Alex Gillen now try and dispatch of Safso in towards the opening corner, looks towards the inside, sends it down the inside, and that is a textbook move from Alex Gillen, not allowing anything out of the ordinary to happen here. Next up will be his teammate Matt 2-on-2. Will Matt want to play for position? Will he treat this like he's playing for position? A lot will be revealed in the next few moments. Matt stated publicly, I believe this will be his last series of the Creator Series, and wanting to try and hold his own, but down the inside goes Gillen in towards Vodafone corner. It's a stunning move from Gillen late on the brakes in traditional Gillen-esque racing, and actually made it look very, very easy when all was said and done. Scotty Designs as well in towards the pits for their first stop. They'll come out in 18.
Means as well that Gillen can just about cling onto the coattails of Tom and stay very much in the ballpark with our race leader and pole sitter, of course. Kareem, Ben and Ryan are a further 3 seconds back down the road. Then another 3 seconds back is where you get to GB and Jake, and Ricky actually as well, who's in that little scrap for 8th, 9th and 10th. Then there's a big gap further back to Thimex, Lolly and that guy Vince. So just seeing little pockets of drivers, little pockets and groups of drivers at the moment on the road, just starting to almost work in little pairs, little groups to try and get themselves into the best possible position.
Absolutely right. As we make our way through, approaching that 1/3 race distance where a lot of drivers will be happy to hit that milestone without too many issues. Team Amadic through on Karim 17. Again, this opening section of corners seems to be a favourite overtaking spot for a lot of these drivers. Here comes Ryan L83, wanted to do similar into turn 3. Again, just not necessarily choosing that inside line, which has been favoured so many times at the exit of turn 2. You just have to get a run, don't you? You have to try and build your way up to it through 1 and through 2 and just carry that momentum all the way down. And that wasn't what happened on this occasion. Scotty Designs, by the way, through on Matty D13, up to 17th on grid at the moment. Of course, with all the pit stop chaos that could still be coming our way later in this Grand Prix, it is hard to try and figure out who's going to finish in what position. Ryan and 83 still on the back of Karim 17, making their way through down turns 4 and turns 5 respectively on the normal layout of this circuit in towards 3. Little lock up for both Ryan and 83 and Karim 70 as well through 2 and down towards Tarzan to finish off lap 24.
These guys, what, 5 seconds at the moment off Tom 97, and Gillen is Ryan with a little look to the inside of the final corner on Karim, who goes for a wider run, gets that late apex, gives himself a nice run actually at Team McMardick to maybe get that 5th place on the road back. Ben's not going to fight that one, as you would expect, as they continue to trade places and work together to try and close that gap to Tom 97 and Alex Gillen. They'll be hoping that by the time GB arrives on the scene, which is probably going to be this time next lap, they might have the opportunity just to get dragged along by the Aston Martin if they can keep up with GB, who's on much fresher tyres.
I'll tell you what we can do in a moment, when we try and figure out how this battle is going to work itself out, because the two McLarens are still going hammer at Tom at one another. We have got a moment to go over and have a look at Meraki. We'll do that in the next few moments just to see what has happened with themselves. Up at the front though, Alex Gillen not far off the back. We'll keep you updated as everything does go on. But I think Mr. Scott Taylor, who's been waiting so patiently in the wings, has got some news for us.
As always, alright, let's look at what happened to Meraki. You thought it was Karim's AI that actually done it, but it wasn't. It was all Meraki. Let's see what happens. I don't know really what he was doing, but let's see. 3, 2, 1. I think he was convinced he was going to hit the wall. He was convinced he was going to hit the wall, and he tried to back out at the last moment, and boom, straight into Karim. So yeah, 100% all Meraki's fault. And before I leave yous, I hate to do it, but he did spin, so let's look at it, shall we? Mr. Adam Sanderson, on his own in 17th, not having a great race, and then sadly just puts his foot down a little bit too heavy, and that's the end of that. Unfortunate for Sandy, but, you know, the race isn't over yet.
Absolutely, good still see a safety car. Thank you, Scott, as always, for keeping us up to date with everything that is going on behind the scenes. GB here on the back of Ryan 83. That's the one to watch here. It's Aston Martin versus McLaren side by side as they run through turn 7 up towards 6. And GB is past Ryan 83. He's back in the fight for this race, knowing there's going to be nothing to drag this field closer together. GB up trying to challenge Team Amadic once again, and on the back of Karim 17. This is going to be a good scrap to the end, or at least until the next stop, I reckon.
Yeah, that's one checked off the list. Now needs to try and work his way through Ben and Karim, which is going to be difficult because Ben's following Karim so closely through the second half of this lap at the moment. Dives to the inside of the final corner, spotted the smallest pocket of space. Both of them get out of shape as they try to plant the loud pedal coming out of the final corner. And I don't think, well, how hard is Ben going to fight this? GB on much fresher tyres, moving into the middle of the road, so GB has to wait until he finds the space into turn 2. Just has a think about it to the inside, but again, unable to make that one stick. Now heavy braking into turn 3, uses that grip that he's got to dive down the inside and does eventually move past Thierry McMartin.
Certainly so. It's a good move from GB. The fresher tyres starting to work in his favour. He'll now have Karim 17 in front, and I think this will be a very important distinction for GB68. If he can get past Karim and then get within the 1 second of Safso, which at the moment, Karim17 is just edging over that line ever so slightly. This is going to be really beneficial for his race. He's actually timed it rather well to be able to maintain that overtake mode. If he's going to do it, I think he's got to do it in the next couple of laps. We'll keep an eye on GB. He's a 10th and a half off as he continues to run towards 3. I think he's going for it here in towards turn 3. Does go for it in towards the right-hander, and now he's got to find the time to hold it up towards Safso. He's within that 1 second mark. The overtake detection point comes just before Tarzan as they cross over that line there. GB has timed that to perfection. Overtake mode for lap 29.
Cool order, but if any of these guys, Karim and the 2 McLarens, are going to have any chance of winning this race or maybe even getting on the podium, they have got to try as they might, and go with GB, which is going to be difficult because of the tyre advantage the Aston Martin's got. But if GB just soldiers off into the distance, gets through the traffic very, very quickly, leaves Karim and the McLarens on the back foot, and that's probably their chances, if we don't see a safety car, at getting back into this one absolutely eradicated. They're 6.5 seconds off the back of Tom 97 and Gillen at this phase. They're slower at the moment as well, as they're also mid-scrap, Tom 97, and get a little bit of contact as they headed into turn 6. GB already picked Safso off, so that's one crossed off the list there. Safso falling now into the clutches of Karim. He's got to try and be punchy, try and be efficient at working through as well. But Gillen looking racy here, still on the mediums compared to the hards of Tom. Moves over to the inside. Is he going to dive it to the inside? Yes, he does of turn 12. Little bit late on the brake. Tricky traction as he completes the move. And that is Alex Gillen up into the race lead for the first time since he made his stop. Just got to be careful he doesn't carry too much speed over that curve there, as it almost rails him into the barrier on the left-hand side.
He loves to move in towards that corner because you know he can get it stopped. Here's GB on map 2 on 2. Karim as well, trying to hold off Safso by the looks of things, or get past Safso in towards and out of Tarzan corner. Karim17 will now have map 2 on 2 just in front of him. GB leads this train of cars that is all the way down, I believe, to Meraki just further back. So 3rd through 9th, all in one train as it stands. The procession as they go through Karim17 very deep into turn 3. Following him through is Katia Marek, taking opportunity when it presented itself. The definition of if-gap car given to us by the Australian once again. And Karim's up to 4th, Ben's up to 5th. And Matt 2 on 2 just having to hold off Ryan 83, who's just dispatched Safso in his own right. But this is a great bit of unintentional teamwork, you could say.
Yeah, and they've almost left Ryan just sweating a little bit because there were the 2 cars between them, but now he gets past Matt 2 on 2. I don't know if that was coordinated or not, but he can stick with Karim and he can stick with Tim and Roddick just up the road, but they are a second and a half now, plus the rest off the back of GB, whose sights are firmly set on Gillen and Tom 97. Massive tyre offset. How close can we get by the time we make our second stop?
It's going to be the question, this is we head on to lap 30 in this Grand Prix. Alex Gillen leads from Tom 97 from GB, but that is at 5.7 seconds down the road. Meraki's past Safso, up to 8th then for the Mercedes AMG outfit. Safso's dropped right off the back, or is about to drop right off the back, and you can see Ricky 03, his teammate, not far behind, 2.7 seconds off the back of Safso. We run through turn 2, down towards turn 3, where drivers again have favoured moves here, and of course into the banking where we saw Alex Gillen dispatch Tom 97. They can throw it into that corner and not worry too much about getting the braking right. They can allow gravity to basically drag their cars round to the right. Necruz past that guy Vince, up for 13th place. Meraki past Matt 212, tended that inside line through Vodafone into Renault, the left-hander here. And through again Marlborough, the double left-hander element that we have here at the circuit of Zandvoort. Meraki has found form again. We have questioned him on the 26 DLC. We knew that his battery management was questionable in the 2025 regulations, although he seems to have got it somewhat figured out here in 26.
And he's done really well, considering that front wing damage that he had to change. As to the inside of 12 goes Ben, gets a little bit lively and squibbly with the loud pedal, so can't make that move stick. We've seen the dives into the final corner, but Ben happy to sit behind for the time being. There is Ryan, there is Jake as well. He's done a really good job to get himself back into the same ballpark as Karim. I think he's going to put one over on Ryan, who didn't have the best of exits through Tarzan. And is he going to get in between the 2 McLarens through the flat-out turn 1? Karim from Ben, from Jake, who is down the inside and just about gets his way past Ryan to dispossess him of P6.
We will continue to make our way through then. Tom 97 back past Alex Gillen up at the top of the hour. And the question will be, are they going to work together? They've lost only about 3 tenths in totality to GB68, and that's not going to be enough over the course of a race distance to try and drag them back into contention for the lead. But of course, we are expecting everybody to still do at least one more stop. Team Martic's dropping down the order. What has happened to the Australian? He dropped about 4 positions in one corner. And I wonder if he's just been run out wide there and lost a lot. But even so, through one corner, that seemed like a lot. That could also be a screen freeze, which we've seen happen a couple of times, haven't we, Tom?
Absolutely. No damage that we can see, at least to the eye. But yeah, not ideal at all. And once again, he's going to have to work his way past Matt, past Safso to get back on the haunches of his teammate. Yes, he hasn't lost too much as he dives already to the inside of Safso, who will definitely see him coming. I don't think we'll fight that one too hard. Has to get out of it for a second time as Ben plunders his way down the inside and back up 1 place into 8th after whatever drama befell him about 30 seconds or so ago. Now Matt 2-on-2 next on the hit list. Can he try and get him into turn 3? Probably a little bit too far back. You can see they're into the brain zone now. Yeah, definitely too far back to try a lively one. And almost an excruciating send down the inside to try and pick the popular hats.
Certainly looking that way, isn't it? It's hard to believe we're not even a half race distance yet. There's a long way to go in this Grand Prix. And I think it's the first time I've found myself saying, you know what, I wouldn't mind a safety car right about now. It's one of those races where, you know, it's all right races. I can see why Zandvoort's leaving the circuit, or leaving the calendar, should I say. Matty D in towards pit road for the first time, I believe, this afternoon. I'm not sure if we're able to pull up how many stops each of our drivers have had on the screen, if we can get that on our timing tower. Here we go then, 1 stop from the majority. Matt 2-on-2 yet stopped, as is Safso. Everybody else has completed their first of 2 stops, of course. A reminder, the drivers have to use all 3 dry compounds available over the course of this race weekend. So we are expecting every single driver to do 2 stops. I say that as in comes one at Haas, that's Matt 2-on-2, and Safso for their first stop of the afternoon.
So 33 laps on the side of the hard compound tyres, 32 laps in fact on the hard compound tyres. So let's just bear that one in mind as we see this battle from 4th through 7th. Soft tyres going on for Safso, mediums for Matt. Meraki on the hard tyres, looking like the better compound at this stage of the stint as he sends it to the inside of Cream. It'll be the outside then for turn number 4. Should have the high road, and he does pull past the alley. That invites Ryan into the equation as well, and Cream just has to keep his wits about him because the McLaren sniffing to the inside, but wasn't quite confident enough, maybe under braking, to send it fully down the inside of the Audi. So they will stay in 6th and 7th, the 2 McLarens. Can they try and keep hold of Jake, though? He's looking really quick, especially on those hard compound tyres.
He certainly is. Got to try and keep an eye on everybody on this race. The tyre question will be, how long can our drivers go on the mediums? Because we'll expect them to probably pit in the next 5 or so laps, would be my early inclination. And the likes of Timo Martic, who was the first to blink, the likes of Davide DeCipio as well, and maybe Chappers, who's already done 19 laps on a set of medium compounded tyres, will not want to go much longer than they have already. In comes Ryan L83 and 3 then. He's done 17 laps on a set of the mediums. So this is going to be an interesting comparison here, because it's having to go almost certainly to race end here with hard compounded tyres.
Interesting roll of the dice that he's trying to get out of that group of cars. Ricky's catching them as well by a decent whack, and Lolly's not too far back down the road either on his 12-lap-old medium tyres. Went for the same long opening stint as GB did, who's just stalled out a little bit, hasn't he? That gap's been in the sort of mid-5-second range for the past 5 or 6 laps now. Hasn't really made any real inroads on Tom 97 or Alex Ginn. I think Ginner's being helped by the fact that Tom on those hard tyres just in the ascendancy pace-wise now, and Ginner can just try and stick like glue to the back of him, get dragged away from that group behind, and just make GB's life that little bit harder, despite the tyre offset that he built by staying out 4 laps longer than Gillard and 6 laps longer than Tom.
Absolutely. Expect more pit stops in the next few laps as well, and Safso opting for the softs as his middle stint, which is an interesting call here, knowing that he'll have pace over the course of this middle stint. You can, in theory, save them until the end, but with less risk of that, you know, safety car with 10 laps to go, which has been rather predictable in the Creator Series over the last few weeks, where drivers are going to start to experiment with different strategies. Of course, Fabio experimenting with not running the entire race distance is a bold move. I don't think it's going to work out for him. Matt 2-on-2 past that guy Vince, up to 11th as it stands at the moment. But one thing I do want to find out here, Tom, is what exactly happened to Timo Martic, that moment where he went off wide, and Scott's got the answers.
Yes, I do. All right, it was him and Meraki. So let's look at Ben's POV first. You can see going into the slower section of the track. Meraki goes to the left. And there is the contact now in bench chat. Half of them were blaming him and half of them were blaming Meraki. Let's look at Meraki and you can make up your own mind, shall we? All right, just to give you a look at that. All right, coming in here. Let's fast forward that a little bit. We don't need to see all of this. Let's see, going about here. Let's see what Meraki does. Sends it on the inside, hits the tyre, and game over for Ben. So yeah, you make up your own mind, guys.
Tough one, a very, very tough one. Scott, thank you so much for bringing us that inside perspective. And I think as chat might have agreed, it's going to be a 50-50 situation. There will be those that love it and those that hate it, those sort of moves. I think up here in the commentary box, my personal assumption would be that might be a bit of Ben, as much as that's going to frustrate and annoy his fans. Speaking of Ben himself and Crim 70 in towards pit road, then both doing 20 and 22 laps respectively and set the medium compound of tyres, so starting to reach that point where hards can almost certainly go until the end. Tom, I want to hear your thoughts on that Ben and Meraki incident now we've had an opportunity to review it.
A weird bit of contact, because when we watched from Ben, I was thinking, well, Jake's just landed to the side of him. Looked like he got a massive whack, but when you look at it, Jake's always there, and it's almost just like a bit of a brush. Admittedly, we weren't watching it quite at full speed, but from where I was sitting, it just looked like much of a muchness, really, and then the game physics just not really doing Ben a solid. Shouldn't have really sent him that far out. It didn't look like it was that big a hit, so I think just the coming together between the pair of them, and then unlucky that Ben had the reaction, or Ben's car had the reaction that it did.
Yeah, I think you're right in what you're saying. It did look just like the smallest tap, and I think a little bit of netcode and everything else has thrown it way out of proportions. For a moment, Necru's there, not far off the back of Map 2 on 2. He's within 66 thousandths of a second of the Haas outfit in front, but I think it's just dropped back again through the second sector. We have seen Davide De Scipio pick up a 10-second penalty for speeding in pit road. I'll be honest, I thought he was going to retire. And Meraki's picked up the same penalty. That is heartbreaking for the driver that's been running in fourth for so long. He's now got 10 seconds to his name, which can be really hard to get rid of, considering this is going to be his second stop of the afternoon. He's going to have to serve that surely at the end of the race.
Yeah, the second time he's completely ballsed up the pit lane entry as well, so not happy with that one at all. As we return to Kareem and Ben, who've been joined at the hip for the last 20 or 25 laps, putting one over on Vince. Through goes the Audi. Ben will be hoping that he can try and follow suit as well, and into turn number 2. Should have the inside, should have that comfortable, though he gives Vince a bit of a squeeze over onto the grass there as he completes that move. But 12th and 13th now, Ryan, who pitted a couple of laps earlier, just caught up to the next group of cars. Meraki actually out ahead of all of these guys on his set of mediums, but with that 10-second penalty, getting stuck in with Fimex and with Necru. Safso in the middle of those guys too. Look at that, so many cars.
A cluster of cars. Safso past Necru is there, in towards the left-hander, through turn 6 traditionally. Through goes Ryan at 83 as well, taking advantage of that car that is slow moving. Can Ryan get the overspeed as well in towards the right-hander that is traditionally turn 3? Try and send a move down the inside of Safso. I don't think he's alongside enough, no, but lock up from Safso. Through goes Ryan, took advantage of the Ferrari going deep, and my goodness, Ryan at 83, the reactions of a cat to get up to 9th place on circuit. That caught even me out.
Red carpet rolled out, and Ryan said, well, thank you very much. I will plunder down the inside and barrel through and pick up an absolute freebie there. Did a really good job not to clatter into Safso. Very easy if one person goes deep in front of you just to follow them in. We saw that with the two Alpines, both of them going onto the grass earlier on in the race as Kareem disposes of Necruz, trying to stay in touch with Ryan. Jake on the medium tyres, a long way forward. You could just see him at the very front of this straight as Necruz exits stage left there, and through goes Tim at Marduk. Another McLaren gets a bit of a freebie there. He's now second off the back of Kareem. I don't think he expected that one, so going to have to try and get back on the horse and get back up towards the Audi, stay in touch with the former champion. Two drivers, of course, battle for that Season 9 champion. In the end, Kareem winning out over Ben.
Certainly so. They continue to make their way through, and it's not looking good on the circuit, and it's not looking good if you're a Tottenham supporter either. They're losing 3-0 to Brentford. Final score at the stage. That is horrific. I apologise for taking it away from the racing for a moment, but I did just check the score because I knew they were losing 1-0. And yeah, at that stadium that Brentford play at the Brentford Community Stadium in London, 3-0 to Brentford. So Spurs are going down, they're getting relegated. We can have a party at season end. But here comes Safso again, looking to try and take advantage of Ryan L83 in towards the final few corners. I don't think he's got the straight line speed. Ryan L83, on the other hand, has got the straight line speed on Fimex in towards the left-hander. It's too wide through this section of corners. Safso not far off the back as well. looking for an easy opportunity to get past the Italian. Can he try and work it into turn 3? Karim 17's there as well. He'll have to take the inside line. Does the Alpine car. The inside rolled out for Safso through 4, and that is simply lovely. Karim follows through. Both drivers up to 9th and 10th respectively. Karim 17 won't be happy with that one though, as here comes Timo Mardik down the inside of Fimex. It might not be the Italian he's battled with before, but it's the Italian he's battled with this time. Up in front of him, Karim 17 getting past Safso, round the outside of Marlborough, in towards turn 6. That was spectacular.
Lovely, lovely racecraft from everybody involved there. Ben with that late lunge down the inside of Fimex. Great battling as well between Karim and Safso. Beautiful racing action going on, and now Ben's going to try and help himself here. Safso recharging, spotting an opportunity, is the former two-time champ, and that is P10 returning to the hands of Timo Mardik, trying to keep that chase on with Karim just up the road, Ryan just up the road as well, and then it's Jake on those medium tyres. Got to bear that in mind, that 10-second margin, but we saw how quickly the mediums fell off once you got to sort of lap 17 or 18 of the stint. The hard tyres much, much quicker. So Jake at the moment in the box seat, despite that 10-second penalty, but you would think they are just going to come back to him as this race continues to progress.
Certainly so. We're on lap 40 of 72. We've got just 33 laps, including this one, to go. It might not feel like it, but it is an eternity here at the circuit. To Zandvoort to the inside, that's Meraki on mat 2-1-2. Beautiful move as he makes his way through the right-hander of Vodafone. Again, just continuing to march their way forward. We appreciate all the follows, all the subs that are coming over on Twitch as well. It's looking like a very interesting race. It's a very strategic race, isn't it, Tom? It's one of those that there's not necessarily much wheel bagging going out on circuit. There's not much physicality, but there's a massive mental game going on.
Absolutely, especially when you look at the lead battle, which we haven't spoken about for a while. DB's now shipped a 1.5 seconds, so he's nearly 7 seconds away from Tom, who's just starting to pull clear of Alex Gillen. That gap just hovering under 1 second as the medium tyres start to drop away. And we return to the two McLarens with an Audi in between them. Safso clinging onto the coattails of his former teammates as well. They are 2.5 seconds away from Matt 212, who's still keeping Jake for company in 6th and 7th. Lolly then a long way clear of that little battle, but still yet to make his final stop. So still all to play for at the moment. Looks like it's a 2-horse race, but still with 30-odd laps, that's a heck of a long way still to try and get to the end.
It certainly is, and it just feels long. Like minute 15 lap, that's going to be just over half an hour, probably closer in boarding to about 40 minutes. But it doesn't feel like it's that short away. We're not far from the race distance, we're not far from race end. It's just a really tough and technical circuit, one that our drivers will be really feeling the physicality of it. I think we've seen it from drivers before when they've exited out of Zandvoort. You know what, that took a toll on my shoulders and my back and everything along that line as well, as we do see Alex Gillen in towards pit road, and here's Timo Mardik on the back of Karim 17 making their way through the weird S section down towards the right hander. He looks to the outside this time. This is Timo Mardik, and before the braking zone even comes into contention, he's past Karim 17. Can we get a quick reminder on pit stops that we appreciated up in the chat? Ricky 3 up past Gillen. We do see a number of drivers starting to make their 2 stops already. Timo Mardik, Ryan Later and Karim 17, all one of those running hard tyres until race end. Now Gillen joins him, as is Meraki in fastest lap. The accolade that has gone to Timo Mardik as Ryan 83 takes the high banking. That's not intentional. Oh my goodness, Ryan 83, how he survives that, I have absolutely no idea. I thought I saw a wheel come off of that car, but what was a moment of helping his teammate could have turned into disaster, as Ryan 83 surviving by the luck of the gods.
What on earth? I mean, he was helping his teammate out. Didn't need to throw himself into the wall there, Ryan, to let him through. I think, like he said, he's managed to get away with that daylight robbery. If he has got away with it, must have some front wing damage, although the car looks all in one piece. I'm looking at that right-hand end plate and thinking that doesn't look to be there, and that's going to be some significant front downforce loss. And Safso's just watched on and gone, what the hell have I just seen occur in front of me? And that's a chance at potentially a podium, definitely a top 5 for Ryan. That's probably his race run in that regard.
You say that. You say Safso would have gone, what is going on? It was probably the most mediocre, as he drove past and saw what Ryan did in the wall. I'm not saying Safso doesn't react to things. He's a lovely guy. But there could be the biggest crash in the world in front of him. He's like, that's not ideal.
Oh, what's gone on there? That's what I imagine that would be. But back on the horse is Ryan. They're now 3 seconds away from Ben and Karim, who are taking a lot of time out of Lolinoba, who's still yet to make his final stop. Matt 2-on-2's pace is actually pretty decent, by the way, at this stage. Able to cling on with Meraki. Still has to make a stop as well, though. Matt 2-on-2 between now and the end of the race.
Little wiggle there from Safso, making his way out of the Audi S's. I'm shocked the Audis haven't liked the Audi S's as much as they would have done. Whether that's the official name for them anymore or not, I don't know how outdated my track map is at this moment in time, but I'm going to call them the Audi S's because that is a great name for here in Formula 1. Safso still on the back of Ryan L83, making their way through the exit of Marlborough down towards turn 6. Actually, yeah, no, it's the corner called Marlborough. This is outdated.
Yeah, don't think you can advertise that anymore. But moving past that as they head down into turn number 12, still Safso all over the back of Ryan. 9-lap-old hards versus 10-lap-old softs, as Ricky with a 10-second for speeding in the pit lane. People clearly very much struggling with trying to slam the anchors on for that pit lane. As Alex Guinness with the fastest lap of the race on an alternate strategy compared to Tom 97. Doesn't look like GB at this stage has got the pace, although he still has to use the hard compound tyres as well. Almost equidistant first, second and third. Safso still applying the blowtorch to the wounded McLaren of Ryan, who's able to still cling on to that one for the time being.
I think we've also got to figure out here, Gillen is in such a great position to lead this race because Tom 97 will have to make a stop. We're expecting these drivers to go at least 36 laps on a set of the hard compounded tyres. So Tom 97 still about 8 laps expected on this hard compound, and then presumably mediums to see him out. I think he started on the soft compounded tyre. It's hard to try and remember what happened about 44 laps ago at this moment in time. But if you're watching along in the live chat, let us know who you think is going to be the driver to take victory here this afternoon. I've been told we're going to get an updated track map. I disagree. I like calling this corner Marlborough. I like calling the corner the Audi S.
By the way, GB into the pit, so that's 22 laps on his set of medium tyres. Jumping out of it, 9.6 seconds was the margin between himself and Tom as he came into the pits. That releases Alex Gillen up to second place. GB's going to be spat out behind Matt 2-on-2, potentially behind Ben and Kareem as well. You can just see on the track map the flash of green coming down pit lane exit. GB is going to be just off the tail of Ben and Kareem in position number 7 as Safso once more all over the back of Ryan. He keeps it out of the wall on this occasion. Long way around's not going to work there for Safso as he has to continue to try and apply the button and push the button and push Ryan's buttons to find his way past.
Can confirm pushing Ryan's buttons is fun. Up in front of them, though, you saw that battle for Ricky 03 and Necruz side by side through the right-hander of what traditionally is turn S, that Audi S section, and down towards Safso. Ryan 83 again fighting internally. Safso is past Ryan. This is still Necruz on the back of Ricky 03 for 10th place on circuit. We head through the left-hander traditionally of turn 7. The question will be, can they try and make any advantage count? Because the run down towards what is normally turn 3, that's Hugenholtzbach. If you want to try and pronounce the Dutch version, I'm going to leave that to the professionals for the rest of this broadcast. But that is normally the overtaking opportunity.
I rate the effort, I have to say. I'm not going to try it, but I don't think I could do better than what you managed. But yeah, because there are so many limited overtaking opportunities and there aren't places where you can necessarily get creative with it like you can do in the forward direction, we do have these elements of stalemate, and we almost return to sort of 20 years ago of racing when there's sort of those 2 or 3 places that you see those overtakes made. It does get maybe a little bit predictable, but we have had some nice scraps, especially into this chicane, as Lolinoba fastest lap of the race. Hasn't really featured too much down in 12th at the moment, but we're looking to make a late race run to get himself up towards maybe challenging 7th or 8th perhaps. Ryan 83 will definitely be a target with the damage that he's currently sporting.
I'm not trying to commentator's curse this race. I'm just thinking of opportunities where drivers might crash unintentionally. I'm just thinking there's not many places on this circuit, is there? Because there's a lot of them that work better the other way around. Like the corners we're going through at the moment, in forwards way, the amount of Tony Hawking you can do into a barrier is exceptional. Anywhere else on this circuit, there's minimal opportunities, maybe bar the exit of that corner. I remember Scotty getting pushed into that a couple of races ago when we last ran reverse Zandvoort. And there goes Matty. That's in the pits then. That is a true shame.
It is. Well, no, it's not a shame because intentional safety cars are banned, and we are not endorsing those at all. But the gap out in front continues. Unintentional safety car. Well, intentional and unintentional. Gap out in front continuing to erode with Tom muscling what's left out of his hard compound tyres. 15.5 seconds the gap. But GB still stuck a little bit. Vince with a 10-second for speeding in the pits. That's what, 4 or 5 drivers now that have fallen foul of the pit lane speed limit, unable to slam the ankles on quite fast enough. So Tom still out there. When do we think he's going to be coming in? Probably the next 5 laps, you would say. Give himself an opportunity to chase Gillen down. He doesn't want to find himself in a situation where he loses time battling with Jake as well, who's in a bit of an awkward position, isn't he, for Tom 97. It's about 20 seconds or 20 or so seconds away from the Red Bull.
You're absolutely right. And we're getting to this moment in time where Tom has to make that pit stop. Gillen is closing that pit stop window, essentially, knowing that he'll have the fresher tyres at the end. But Tom 97 has to do the work in the latter stages of this Grand Prix, and that's where the effort really comes in. Gillen's got a bit of comfort, knowing Meraki's got a penalty, knowing that he will inherit race lead when those pit stops happen, but he knows he still needs to kind of apply the pressure, continue to apply the pressure over the next few laps, maybe with a mistake starting to creep in.
Possibly. Matt 2 on 2, by the way, still out there as well. Needs to make his final stop. Doing a really strong job. Check Gap as the latest to jump out of the session. Just been caught by Ben and Kareem. Safso from Ryan, from Ricky, with Lolly just cruising up to the back of this trio. Also Ferrari, McLaren, Ferrari, Cadillac. Ferrari champion from last season. Make that as Ryan has a look to the outside of turn number 3, or turn to the inside of 4 if he can keep it alongside. Really nice move, especially with the front wing damage if he can pull it off, but he slams into the side of Saf, so that cuts short that opportunity, and suddenly from the front foot to the back foot, it's Ricky having a look to the inside. Ryan's still on the offensive, but goes way too deep into turn number 5. Hands that place on a plate to Ricky, who's now challenging his Ferrari teammate all the way around the outside. That is absolutely picture book perfect from Ricky to take 8th place away from his teammate.
That is absolutely lovely, and I must admit, a fantastic move. Here comes GB in the place that he likes to send it, down the inside of the right-hander, banking, using all of it available, and past Matt 2 on 2. He's got Timo Mardik just for company in front. Here's Lonnie Noba, the other Italian, now trying to make similar moves, but it is a double effort from Safso and Ryan L83 as they head through that right-hander. Ryan L83 pushing the extremities of track limits in towards Tarzan. Ryan will have to hold it around the outside, but how much traction, how much grip can he get on those tyres? Not given an inch by Lonnie Noba as they run down towards the opening couple of corners. The left-hander will come a beckoning, boxed in as Lonnie Noba, or so we thought, as Safso disappears from that formation. He's past Ryan L83. Here comes Lonnie Noba. That's not allowed in Formula 1. He's mounted Safso. He's gone over him. What has happened?
That is ref. He's just climbed over him. He's tried to get back into the Ferrari that he was in last season. That's not allowed. Can't go left, can't go right. I know, we'll just go over him. Disgraceful stuff, but he's made it work. Safso, I mean, we were speaking about his reaction to Ryan throwing it in the wall. I'd love to see his reaction when he's just seen a Cadillac clamber over the top of him like he's some kind of climbing frame.
I have no words to describe what we have just... He's climbed over Safso and taken the play. Have a word with him, ref. What is this? He's going to get past Ricky quite easily, I think, in towards the right-hander. So no mounting this time. Ricky lets him pass. I think it was quite an easy decision from the second Italian to allow Lonnie Noba through. But surely there has got to be some conversation there that you're not allowed to clamber on top of your opponents and pass them that way.
I mean, we know it's a non-contact sport, but my days, I mean, that's outrageous. Outrageous behaviour. Ref clearly hasn't seen it, so we're not heading over to VAR, and Safso just trying to recover from what he's just experienced. Now got Ryan once again to deal with as the 2 Italians in front have checked out to the tune of a couple of seconds. Neckaru's the next driver down the road who's 3.2 seconds away from Ryan. Out in front, GB got to the front of that little trio with himself, Ben and Kareem. Hasn't yet dropped Tim at Mardik out of 1 second, but I think we're getting fairly close to that one. And they're starting to catch Jake as Tom 97, lap number 50, is in for his final stop of the race. That will be mediums to the end. He's going to have around about, what, 10 seconds maybe to try and chase down Alex Gillen?
It's going to be very close. I wonder if we can jump up the front to see what that gap is going to be when he does eventually peel out of the pits. Here comes Tom 97 in towards, and Gillen already swooping past there, which is impeccable timing for themselves. Will Meraki actually get the better of Tom 97 in the pits? I think he will. So you see the Rebel Racing car exit there, so just ahead of GB, just behind of Meraki. And you know what, Tom, I agree with a NASCAR fan for once in my life. They said physics temporarily left the building. That is the truth that has happened here at Zandvoort today. Both Safso and Necruz into the pits as well at the end of lap 50 to change onto what will be their final set of tyres until race end. 22 laps to go here, Tom. Who's your money on?
It's difficult to say because we've seen those medium tyres fade at the end of the stint, and Tom's got 8.5 seconds to try and claw back over Alex Ginn with just over 20 laps remaining. 8 lap fresher tyres as well. We saw in that middle stint, GB had a big tyre offset, but he almost hit a brick wall after sort of 8 or 9 laps. He was catching them by half a second, maybe a second a lap, then just lost it completely, courtesy of Tom being on the hard tyres, just that swap over of which tyre was in the ascendancy, and that meant that GB was just stalled out in P3. He's got an opportunity maybe to try and go with Tom. He's desperately going to try and get past Jake as quickly as possible. In fact, Jake's going to head into the pits, I think, to get shot of that 10-second penalty, so that makes life easy for Tom, who's chasing, remember, first victory in Creator Series for quite some time. First win it will be since the F1 24 game.
That is a very, very long time. It is a clean pit stop for the first time in a while for Meraki. Probably the most similar time that actually Tom 97's got a race winning Creator Series. So Meraki's made it into the pits safely without causing trouble to himself. Same couldn't be said for Ryan L83. You know what? I was hoping for a clean sentence. Thanks, Ryan.
Not happening. Not happening for these drivers heading into the pits. It's basically left Ben and Kareem in a spot where they are very much fighting over 4th and 5th and praying that something happens in front. And don't discount Lolly either with 20 laps to go. He's, 8.5 seconds off the back of that pair. Much fresher tyres. Could there be a late race assault from our resident Italian stallion, reigning champion Lolanoba, of course, who currently second in the championship, but with Alex Gillen currently leading the way, that gap out in front just beginning to extend, and this could be Alex Gillen taking a big step towards being the first 3-time Creator Series champion. Tom 97, though, you would imagine will have something to say about that, and GB unable to go with Tom, so it looks like it's a 2-horse race here. Gillen versus Tom 97, a legendary scrap.
It would be an incredible race for Tom to win here. Safso passed Scotty's lines, by the way, as Tom sets the fastest lap on a set of the medium compounded tyres, and I think we've got a brief lull in proceedings until that battle starts to make its way forward. It's that middle scene in Avengers Endgame where they are just waiting to fight Thanos for the second time, and everything's a little bit calm. They're having the briefing and understanding how it happens, because that is what's about to happen in about 10 laps time. And whilst we've got this, shall we go over to our Italian tailor himself? He might have some inside scoops for us on what exactly happened between Lolly Nova and Safse.
Yes, I do. All right, let's look at Lolly's POV. It's just game physics. EA Sports Data again gets the teleport straight through Saf. So I'm not too sure who had the problem, but you know, Lolly's going to take that any day of the year. Looking at Safso's POV, so you can see how he reacted. He did not react at all. Like you were saying, it was just another day in the park for him. And any second you will see Lolly just go right through him, and there you go. That's how he lost the spot.
It's the most subtle hand movement from him on the left. You just see the littlest hand open, kind of going, what's just happened here? But not enough to have a big reaction, which, you know, if that was anybody else getting overtaken, it would be arms up in the air, go, what did happen? I don't know why I did the accent. What is happening? Anyway, moving swiftly forward.
Subtitles, by the way, they didn't have a lot of work to do because, as we would expect, the only thing that he said was, oh. And then off you go. Well, nothing I can do about that. I'll continue onwards.
Subtitle artist has got an easy day at the office if they're watching a Safso clip, I'll put it that way. Here is Netcruise on the back of Safso, sorry, being chased down by Datko Vince and Scotty Designs, by the way, as they make their way out of Hugen Holzbach. I'm going to say it properly the second time, and in towards Tarzan. Scotty's still holding Datko Vince prisoner. This is some good racing from Scotty Designs. He's really started to fire up in the second half of this race as we run down towards the opening corner. I think that straight line speed by Vince seems to be a little bit better, but the setup is still holding him back. Remember back to the start of this race where he wasn't happy with the setup. Something is certainly fixed in the second half.
Yeah, makes that work eventually, but he's got a penalty looming over his head, so might be handing that one back come race end. Gap out in front now just or dipping back up above 6 seconds. I've done some mathematics and absolutely dangerous. If my numbers are correct, which is possible they're not, there have been 70 Creator Series races since Tom 97's last win.
How many?
70. Final race of Season 7. We're going to hold this because Kareem might be on the move as he has a little look to the inside of Ben. I don't think he's going to make it into turn 2. No, he is not. But yes, 70 races, including this one, since Tom 97's last win. Now to the inside, he looks again, Kareem 70. Didn't quite have the overspeed, didn't quite slide it far enough alongside, which means that Ben, comfortable through the second part of that chicane, is still keeping the Audi at bay in this exclusive little battle for 4th and 5th, just outside the podium places, because GB's got a real lick of pace over this duo.
Some could say he's on the move, but not quite in the groove at the moment. is Karim 70. He's on the back of Timo Mardik, making their way through the left-hander of turn 6 and down through 7 and down towards 6. As we continue to work our way through. Chappers in the dive chat down below. Stayed out as long as I possibly could after the unfortunate start. I didn't want to pull it in the pits. A tap my rear spinning me in the game crash didn't help. You know what? That sounds suboptimal for someone's race time. In towards the right-hander. Karim 70, I think, just biding his time at the moment. Tom 97 is catching, but I question whether he's going to have enough time to catch Gillen and have fresh enough tyres at the end of the race.
He is catching him very quickly, 0.8 per second on the previous lap. So at the moment has got that pace advantage. Round number 2 between Ben and Karim. This time he had a little look to the outside. Now ducks back over to the left. Inside this time, far enough alongside. Contact, just catches the slide. Armful of opposite lock to keep him pointing in the right direction. And round 2 still goes the way of Australia in that battle. I think Adam Sanderson's had a whoopsie going through at the start of the middle sector. Yes, taking a trip through the runoff and the gravel, now losing as he tries to get back on the road. There goes Tom 97, who thankfully isn't collected by the Mercedes in the way. Gap now dipping below 5 seconds between Gillen and Tom, but Ben still clinging on to this 4th place. And Karim, he is not quite on the move and in the groove, and there is very much stopping him now, and it's Ben that's stopping him at the moment. If he gets through, there ain't no stopping him, but currently he is.
You're absolutely right, and this is the situation that unfolds itself on lap 56 of 72, I believe. 16 laps next time we cross the line to go. If my math is anywhere near correct, I think we are roughly around that marker. We do see Karim 70 looking for the move in towards Tarzan, but again, just half committed, I feel, on the moves. He knows he's got to send it. He knows with dwindling time and ever increasing pressure, the more he messes around with Timo Mardik, the less likely he is to be able to catch up to GB and try and secure a podium here, because the front 3 more than certainly in a league of their own. GB looks very comfortable and competent in that podium position, but again, he's off the back of top 97. He's ahead of Timo Mardik to a degree where he's probably not going to be caught without a spin, so we're kind of in that no man's land at the moment.
There is still that looming threat of Lolanoba as well, who's now under 6 seconds off the back of Ben and Karim. A few laps ago, that was over 8 seconds, towards 8.5 seconds. So just, Vince wondering if he can play the restart card. I think you're a little bit too late there on that one, Vince, unfortunately. As we see him batting away with Ryan, who's still very much wounded after that cascade he had into the barriers around 20 or so laps ago that would have definitely put his eyes on stalks. Especially Safso, who was the one watching, although his reaction was about as calm, cool and collected as it usually is.
Absolutely, around the outside. Here comes Ryan L83 on Datgo Vince, the restart card. Unfortunately being met with the same Una reverse card that the circuit was given by Hayden van der Gulle slightly earlier on this afternoon, which did confuse, I think, myself and a lot of other people. Karim has got past Ben, though. This time it was successful. At the exit of the first corner, sorry, the last corner in towards the first corner, Karim 70 finds himself up to 4th, but again, stuck too far away from GB68 to be able to do anything. Matt 212 making his final stop of the afternoon. I think this will be for softs until race end. The question coming, why reverse? Why not?
If you've only just noticed that, then it clearly wasn't that much of a problem. If we're 58 laps in and you've only just now realised that it was the reverse Grand Prix. I'm kidding, of course. But yes, that was the wild card. Haven't had any wild cards so far this season. That was the one that was spun on us about, what was it, half an hour? I could probably get the exact one. 20 minutes before we started, all of us were caught by surprise.
And I'll be honest, I didn't fully understand what Hayden meant at first, because he just wrote Dutch Grand Prix backwards and I thought he'd had a stroke.
I thought it was some kind of weird code that he was putting in.
Same.
PG 8. I'm not going to try and pronounce it. H-Kirk? I don't know. It's like that final corner at that's the Madrid circuit, was it? Or
yeah,
one of them where it's just like the zzz. It might be Hungary. I can't remember. The new Hungarian Grand Prix circuit with the like electrocution final corner or something.
Yeah. The one that wants to absolutely rip you alive, and of course does cosplay as Le Mans from time to time.
Yes. Thoughts on these regs? If I speak, it's not going to be good fun. I think most people were in kind of a similar boat where if we had normal battery management, I think it would be okay. And the cars themselves are actually not too bad to drive, even though the physics model on the F1 game isn't the most natural. But yeah, the battery management is frustrating at times, especially in qualifying.
It's a really conflicting thing that I find myself sat in the 2026 regulations, because I love the design of the cars, I love how they handle, I love the ability to go racing closer than ever. And if we had the 2025 battery model in them, I think they'd almost be perfect Formula 1 cars. Because I like the straight line mode. I like that you don't have to be within a second in front to use it. I get that's what the battery's for. But it just... everything's added up. They've added 3 plus 7 and 4 and managed to get about 45,000.
Yeah, I don't know. The maths weren't quite mathsing on that one. We've got Messier coming back in saying that we've gone to reverse because we're rigging the championship. Now I don't know whose chat you've come from. I've got a name in my mind, but I'm not gonna throw accusations out just yet. But sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles, lads. This race could use an intentional safety car. We've had none so far.
He's not wrong. I'm just saying, he's not wrong.
We rigged that. Yeah,
that is true.
We rigged it for Scotty to pick up that 1 point. And Matt 2-on-2 with the fastest lap. Matt's had a really good race, by the way. His quality pace was very strong. I think he's done the strategy quite well as well. Might be able to chase down Jake in these closing stages, get a P7, and the battle for P4 could continue because Lolly's taken another 2.5 seconds out of Ben and Kareem. So let's just watch that space with 13 laps to go.
Yeah, it's really, really invigorating racing at the moment to watch on your screens. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I like the strategy elements coming to the race a lot. I love it when we'll get to the final few laps. I think we are going to have that battle between Gillen and Tom 97, and GB is almost certainly going to get a podium because of what's going to go wrong in that situation. But I also love the chaos that comes with Creator Series. I love the restarts because they are always carnage because you've got 22 cars, well, not only 21 because someone put it in a wall. But in this case, there'll be, 16 or 17 cars, all trying to send it, all trying to win it into turn 1, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and I'll be really interested to see what the drivers have thought about having the intentional safety cars banned. Whether it's a case of, we don't know what we had until we take it away, or whether people have actually liked this more pure version of racing where we don't have that stop-start, we don't have those restarts where things can just snowball a little bit. So I'll be fascinated to see, and I think the clip book with Gillen on whenever it is, Monday, I think, will be interesting to watch to see what his reaction is, because last week he was very annoyed and he took a lot of umbrage to those late race safety cars. So whether the shoe will be on the other foot, we'll have to wait and see. He's obviously going to be pretty pleased because he's in a position where he might end up winning the race.
If he doesn't win it, the hate watch will be generational. We love you, Gil, but also it will be interesting. I've also narrowed it down where Messier has come from, because first and foremost they've called the drivers pilots, which is a very Italian thing to do. So I've got one of 3 names in my head. But also they're annoyed because they don't mind having reverse tracks as long as they tell all the Creator Series drivers. You know what? All of them were told. In the channel where announcements get put out, all of them have been told. Here comes Ben, though, on Crim 17 in towards the opening corner. And that was as easy as pie for the native Australian, getting past before turn 1 even went. And there's a Tom. There's an Italian Tom in the
Tommaso's here. Our brother. Our brother. We
are Tom cubed.
Yes.
Wait, no, Tommaso cubed?
Tommaso cubed. Yellow flags out. Has somebody broken the rules and thrown the intentional safety car? Fimex round through the final corner, hands a couple of places to Safso and to Netcruise. I think, though, that was an unintentional wobble, and Vince might have done the same, potentially. Or Williams, maybe it's Davide.
That's Davide, I think, through the final couple of corners. Tommaso cubed, injected everybody. It's a very rare situation to find ourselves in, but Alex Gillen leads on to lap 63 of 72. Tom 97, 2.5. Making 2.3 seconds off the back of Gillen. He's not made as many inroads. We said this earlier, where the medium tyres are going to start falling off, and Messier said no, because half the grid didn't know. You know what? First and foremost, that is 1/11 of the grid. They are the 2 drivers. But I promise you, every F1 full-time driver and every F1 reserve driver was pinged to tell them about it. They just didn't look at the channel. That's on them.
We're going into the race announcements channel, and precisely 5:38 UK time, which I believe is 6:38 European time. I'm going to hold that because this battle between Ryan and Fimex, who's a bit wounded, both of them a bit wounded. Lovely move around the outside of 12 for Ryan to get back up into 11th. Could have been so much more. There was an opportunity maybe to be inside the top 5. Lolly is really catching Kareem and Ben, by the way, so that battle for 4th, 5th and 6th definitely will be heating up. But yes, in the race announcements, everyone was there. They were told. So you've got to be aware. You've got to be aware. That's why you shouldn't spend the half an hour beforehand sweating, because you miss these kind of updates.
You know how I know they know? It's because that's how I found out as well, that this is the reverse circuit. We didn't find out until 22 minutes before this race started. I have no idea. Well, I'm going to translate that. I'll come back to you, Toby. You handle the next. I'm going to Google translate this. And
I'll
see what
hold
they're
the
saying.
fort down.
Please
Don't worry.
do.
As we head through turn 6 with Ryan L83. Gap out in front stabilised a little bit. Has Tom 97 perhaps just hit a wall on his medium tyres? 2 seconds between himself and Gillen. Lolanober and Tim at Mark are about to do battle. Has Google Translate provided the answer to our question, TK?
Well, I sent it to our favourite AI assistant, which is notably better at doing translation. So what they have said is, yes, exactly, and they don't even say that it's reversed. They only do it for some people because of favouritism. Now, Messier, I appreciate you think we've got a bias towards drivers. I completely understand that. It's okay to be that wrong and not admit it, but not in this situation.
This is the thing that I'm going to, as we've got Mercedes off, I think that's Adam Sanderson in the gravel at that turn 6 again, so clearly struggling with that one. I feel like there's a conception that everybody hates Lolanober, and I'm guessing that it's Lolly that you're going to be talking about. That couldn't be like further from the truth. I think everybody likes watching Lolly race because he gives us some great action. He's very, very quick, first and foremost, as well. As we watch on, is this an example of how quick he is? He dives down the inside of Tim at Marlick, bit of a lock up there as he tries to put one over on the Australian ace, and that's P5. He's driven a superb race, and I don't know where the Creator Series anti-Lolanober brigade has come from, but it couldn't be further from the truth. So there you go.
So our presenters, like Scott has just said in our chat, he is biased towards the Italians. He is right.
Gareth Allen, who usually produces this, literally gave Lolanober a chocolate orange when he came over for the Williams eSport event in December last year. And you don't just hand those out to anybody, let me tell you.
I've never given any friends. They are for family only.
Your nearest and dearest. Ryan is really romping through in the latter stages, by the way. That's P10 now as he disposes of Necruz. He has got that penalty, though, which will be applied and bump him back down a few spots. As Lolly in P5 now will be chasing after Kareem to get up into 4th position. I don't necessarily think Ben's got the tyres to fight that one out with the reigning champ.
I don't think he does, and that's the issue we have. I wonder if we can see tyres up, actually, with the last 6 or so laps remaining, just to have a quick eye on what everybody's running. 29 lap old hard tyres for Karim. They're going to be screaming right at the end. Same for Tim and Mark. They went to go long on this compound, but everybody around them's got fresher tyres right until the very end. It's not necessarily the way they'd like to see this go. Tom 97, 15 laps on the mediums. Again, they're going to be screaming right until the very end. So the question's going to be, can he look after them? Because I think if he catches Gillen, and we know this is a fact so many times before, it's one thing to catch, it's another to pass. We do see Ryan L83 pass down Necruz at the traditional turn 3, so he's back up to 10th for himself. Beautiful stuff from Ryan L83. I just can't see Tom getting the overtake made because his tyres are going to be that much in the mud when he manages to catch Gillen.
It's all going to come down to how much of an advantage he gets. If he gets within 1 second and that boost mode provides a pace advantage, he's just incrementally getting closer, but with 5 and a bit laps to go, you feel like he is running out of time. Gridjokes, by the way, got it spot on. Ben going into the gravel was biased. Lolanober to gain a place. I mean, everybody's on the same wavelength here.
Yeah. Can't wait for Gareth to come back from his house move. Also, if you're in the chat,
anarchy.
Yeah, wish Gareth a happy house move. Hope he's not watching along because he's meant to be packing. And realise that we've kind of been let loose on the stream without him.
We've been let loose. We've been having a great time.
Here's
Ricky to the outside of that guy Vince. It's going to be a beautiful overtake if he can make it to the inside of turn 6. Vince is going to try and fight it out. 5 lap fresher tyres for last week's winner. Not going to repeat the feat down in 13th, but it's a lovely overtake from Ricky 03. And his victory last week, I think everybody was absolutely delighted to see him win for the first time in the Creator Series.
Nah, should have been Ben. Anyway, moving forward to Alex Gillen. He wasn't even there. Before you get mad at me that it was a joke, calm down. Alex Gillen in the lead still. Tom 97, 1.2 off the back at the moment. The question will be, can he try and just edge his way a little bit more forwards because he's gained 3/10 or so in the last lap. The laps are running out. We're on 5 to go next time we cross that line. And Alex Gillen will be counting every single one of his chickens, hoping that Tom 97 hasn't got enough left in that tank to try and chase him down. Here's Lolanober on the back of Karim 17, making their way down towards turn 3, where Lolanober does like ascend. I think he might be close enough this time around. Is he going to look for it? Not this time. He'll play the patient game, and Karim 17 making no mistakes. Very sensible as it stands, but laps dwindling down here, Tom. We are getting to crunch time.
Do we get another translator in the house, perhaps?
Yes, yes.
With something that I imagine is about overtaking Kareem and Ben, because I see tier E Kareem there. But yeah, I think he's definitely going to get him. And it's been a really strong drive from, what was it, 15th on the grid from Lolly. So if he had qualified a bit better, then he might have been in that lead fight with Gillen and Tom, who are now separated by just over, did very briefly dip below 1 second.
So that last Italian statement from Mark Olsk, all they said was you have 8 laps of tyre advantage over Tia and Krim. I think that probably meant to end up in Lolly Nova's chat, I can't lie, because that probably isn't very helpful to us up here in the commentary box. But as D. Foley says, Lolly driving fast is biased towards Lolly Nova. You're absolutely so correct on that. Fimex is the GOAT. I couldn't agree more.
Very funny guy. Very funny guy. Oh, and here we go. Is this the opportunity for Lolly? Kareem almost rolls out the red carpet. The hand of frustration is thrown. Double lockup for Lolly into turn 12. Matters not because he flies past under braking. And that is P4 from 15th on the grid. Got the strategy right. Kareem's going to send it back down the inside. Don't make an enemy of people you don't want, Kareem, as he throws it into Tarzan. Still side by side, but Lolly's got the better run out of the final corner and will still keep hold of P4. Opportunity perhaps for Kareem into turn 2. He's still tucked right up underneath the rear wing of the Cadillac. Now finds a space to the inside of turn number 2. Gloves off action between the pair of them. Lolly has the inside into the chicane. Should be able to brake late, but on the outside, Kareem refusing to back down on this one. Lolly now the outside of 4, still side by side. Battle gone on for the entirety of the first sector. Into turn 5, Tim McMarlett maybe trying to pick up the pieces. Kareem, as we usually see, so confident under braking as he hangs it out around the outside of Lolly, who gets shakier than a Tottenham defence. And into turn 6 we head. Still Ben spectating from behind them. Half a lap we've sent side by side into turn 6, and through eventually goes Lolan over to complete that overtake and finally put one over on Kareem.
Inheriting the spirit of lap 69 was Karim 17, giving as good as he gets. That will be the thing that he'll be most remembered for over the course of this lap so far. But Tim and Marek more happy just to watch as the action unfolds as they head in towards the final few corners of lap 69. Lap 70 has started. We have got 3 to go here at the Dutch Grand Prix, but in reverse. It is Lolly Nova in 4th, Karim 17 in 5th, Tim and Marek in 6th, and down towards the opening corner. Tom 97 within a second of Alex Gillen, but wasn't at that overtake detection point. That is going to be critical over the course of this lap, so keep an eye as we head on to 71, because Tom 97 will have just 2 laps to do this if he wants to try and claim victory here this afternoon. Grim 17 still looking for that move on Lolly Nova, but Tim Marek again just playing the patient game. He knows he's got time. He knows the podium is probably out of contention at the moment, but extra points are extra points.
Especially with Alex Gillen potentially taking a huge step with 4 races to go after this to a 3rd Creator Series championship. Ben was the first to get to 2 championships. Gillen could be the first to get to 3 if he continues on this rich vein of form. 2 and a bit laps left to go. Tom is just hovering, isn't he? Sometimes he gets under a second, then it dips back over a second. Really on a knife edge at the moment to see whether he will get that blue boost overtake mode. He is below a second now. Has he got anything left in the tank? Like you mentioned, what tyres have he got left as well? Those means will be definitely second hand at this stage. But Gillen's not exactly in the best place either. His hard tyres pretty worn also.
Well, let's not forget, they're already the majority of the way through this lap. They're making their way down towards what is normally turn 9. They're so far ahead of the rest of these creators. They're almost in a different postcode entirely. You can see that just by the second sector number. That is Gillen and Tom 97 at the moment, whereas this is 4th, 5th and 6th. Just making their way out of the first sector now. Such a disparity between 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, and 6. The field is so spread out here. And as they run down towards that right-hander, it is going to be close to Tom 97. I think he's going to be close enough this time around into Tarzan. And I think we've got to go watch this for the final lap, almost certainly.
Still 9/10, that's the problem. I don't think he's going to be close enough to find a way through. If he's got a load of battery, he's got to try and use it at some point. Looks like Alex Gillen, who knows what to do in this scenario, is going to get this race won as we begin the final lap with Gillen versus Tom 97. Alex Gillen, winner of the Spanish Grand Prix, winner in Hungary. Tom 97 has finished 3rd 4 times this season, hasn't finished inside the top 2, should do today, barring any maladies, but at the moment, just with a little bit too much to do. I think Kareem's had a problem as well. Dropped back 2.5 seconds off the back of Ben. Is that fuel problem? No, he's disconnected again.
Oh, heartbreak to end the race for Kareem 70, and he probably could have recovered if that came 5 or so laps earlier, but unfortunately it wasn't to be this time around. Up at the front though, Alex Gillen still just holding on by 0.8 of a second. I think if Tom 97 has got that blue boost, it's not going to be enough. It's not a place where you need to recharge a lot here. It's not a place where you get the opportunity to burn a lot of the battery. They make their way through turn 6 and down towards the right-hander. Tom 97 is closing in. He continues to do so, but he couldn't quite do it on this occasion. There's one opportunity if he sends it from 3 postcodes back, but the sensible game plays. He knows points are going to go his way. The almost permanent reserve here in the F1 Creator Series will have to finish second on the podium here this afternoon, but Alex Gillen, the man that hates late safety cars, on the day that they are outlawed, will come across the line first to claim victory in Zandvoort. Alex Gillen wins the Dutch Grand Prix. Tom 97 will come home in second. It'll be GB who picks up a podium 8 seconds clear of anybody else. And that will be a good result for the lean green racing machine up towards the line. The team will celebrate with him as he slows to a crawl to cross the line. And is he going to finish backwards? He does finish backwards. Lolly Nova will come home in 4th. Timo Marduk in 5th as he smashes into that Aston Martin.
Oh, and he takes some chunks out of his own car as well. Just getting back in the session, Kareem, by 0.5 second, beats Jake to P6, and then a long way back is Matt. Battle continuing as Ryan charges around the outside of, oh, it's Safso, is it? Yes, who loses the back end, and that ends that little scrap. But with the penalty that Ryan has got, he is going to be thrown out of contention in this scrap between himself and Safso, so will hand 9th place back over to the Season 1 champion. Ryan, with that 10-second penalty, will drop down a couple more spots, potentially to P13 behind Ricky. But the wait goes on for Tom 97, 70 races and counting in the Creator Series. Obviously, he hasn't attended all of those, but it's Alex Gillen with his 3rd win of the season to extend that championship lead. And with 4 to go, sitting very, very pretty at the top of the summit.
Very much sitting pretty indeed. Safso finishes 9th there. We've run through your complete grid order here this afternoon. Crim 70, I think we'll need some rest and reassurance after that late disconnection as well. And Grid Jokes has been freed. He will be released back onto the circuit next time out. And hopefully, you never know, maybe an intentional safety car or 2 next time around. I'm just saying, there's no clips from Mr. Scott Taylor, which means after we will go through the complete order, it will be back up to him in the studio. But first, the accolations, the celebrations, and the champagne going the way of the Brit and Team Haas as well.
Done a really good job. Got the strategy spot on, I think. I think he got it absolutely right. Pulled the trigger at the right time as well. Left Tom having to chase him down, but he just had enough in hand. And it's
My
a Haas
goodness.
clean sweep. Matt 212 with the day of his life. Fastest lap, driver of the day, most overtakes, cleanest driver, almost a clean sweep. His teammate had to go in there and take the race win, but you're sitting very, very nicely if you're a Haas driver. P8 from 22nd on the grid for Matt 212. Tom 97 second, best result of the season, GB back on the podium. Lolly good drive from 14th to 4th. Ben, Kareem, Meraki, Matt 212 Saf. So Net Cruise on debut inside the top 10. Fimex, Ricky, Ryan, Vince, and then somebody in P15. Your point scorers.
Oh, it's double me.
Oh my
God.
goodness.
It was so nice. We had to do it twice, right? Amazing. Hiya. Welcome back, everyone. All right. What a thriller. What a thrilling race. I felt like every lap there was 5 things that were going on, and it was just absolutely incredible. Yes. Did we have fun, the 2 Toms?
Depends on your definition of fun.
What's that?
Yeah.
No, I enjoyed it. It was a good strategy. I like the strategic element from the race. So yes,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I'm a safety car merchant. Give me my safety cars. Give me my safety cars. But
Is that because you normally cause them, Scott?
yes, it is, right?
Put
Give
the
me those
words right out of
restarts. Yeah, no, I love it. Look, Gillen, whenever there's not a safety car race, Gillen's always up there. That's what he loves. It's all he preaches about. So he definitely was able to get what he wanted. So sad for Tom 97. We'll talk to him soon to see what went wrong. Was it it must have been a strategic thing. Like I was quite close, wasn't it, TK?
It was, and it was heartbreaking. I think if he'd maybe waited an extra lap to put on those set of tyres, he'd have had that advantage right at the end. And we said it right from when he made that stop. It was just going to be a question of how well he looked after the mediums. I think he was just missing a little bit.
It was unfortunate. And Wilkinson, what happens with GB? I could have swore in the first 10 laps, 15 laps, I thought he was going to be our winner today.
I think he got the strategy wrong. Obviously, he went long on that first stint. That dropped him, I think it was 10 seconds away from Gillen and Tom. And then because Gillen was second in that queue, being dragged along by Tom, who had the hards at that point, once GB's mediums hit that sort of 20-25% region, just hit that wall. And I don't think he had either motivation or the pace to get himself back into that race. But he was well clear of everybody behind. So a lonely one. And I think maybe we're thinking, could I have done something else with the strategy? He rolled the dice and went for something different. It didn't quite work, but a strong race for him again.
Yeah, you gotta love someone that tries. All right, let's talk to Gillen. Let's see what Gillen. He'll probably be the happiest man in the entire VC. Hey, it's just me on screen. All right, Alex Gillen, you finally got your wish. You got no intentional safety cars, and you know what? You made it count. How are you? Well done.
Well, that's why I've been dreaming about it every night, isn't it?
Yes.
Thinking about it every time I go to sleep, waking up thinking
I bet
about
you
it,
do.
begging everybody to introduce this rule. There you go, beautiful. Do you know what? I'm really interested to have the conversation, actually. Maybe not right now, but about what people prefer. There was quite a lot of retirements, but they all did it in the pits, as they should have done today. Yeah. I really enjoyed that race. I think Tom, I've got so much respect for what Tom did at the end there. He came so close. Those tyres should have been cooked. I don't know what he had for breakfast, but I want some of it because with 10 laps to go, I was like, okay, Tom stopped catching majorly. This is GG's. My tyres going to be better. I'll be faster at the end. It's job done. No, I was never faster than Tom. I don't know how the hell he did at the end, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. But yeah, there were some gaps there. I think there'll be a few people saying, nah, that was dead, and I'm happy to go with the majority on the rule. But from my point of view, I thoroughly enjoyed that race.
You know what I think the sad thing is? I don't think there is a right answer. You know, it's in reflection after you've had the race. Some races do better with the odd safety car here and there, and sometimes they don't. I don't think we'll ever get that perfect solution. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is a difficult one. Like, I think everyone who retired in the pits, you know, half of those guys probably wouldn't have ended up retiring because they would have had a safety car, they'd have got back in the pack, they'd have been having fun. As it was, they were like, I'm so bored, I'm on my own, I'm getting lapped, this is terrible. And I do get it, And like I said, I'm happy to go with the majority on the rule. I liked it. I'm a massive racing purist, as we know. I thought it was a real strategic battle, like seeing me undercut GB by 4 laps in the first stint, and that is it. That and then went to beat GB. And okay, call that boring, but you know, it's a strategy. It worked. I went for an early-ish pit stop. GB waited out a little bit, didn't work for him, and he was never able to fight back. I don't know if my pace was maybe a little bit better than GB's, but me and Tom certainly had identical pace, and we ended up together on track. So yeah, very fun.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to talk to Tom after because I think he'll be happy, but he'll be a bit gutted. But he's getting so close. Now, quickly, let me ask you this because I didn't realize this was a thing. When we are on the standard damage, right? Do you know you can get rear wing damage and side pod damage?
I do after today. There was a lot of people coming into my chat.
What was that?
Today, of course, and a lot of Matt's fans. Matt was claiming we were on sim damage. We absolutely were not on sim damage in the first incarnation of this race.
I thought we were.
No, we weren't. It was standard. But okay. To be honest, I'm surprised as well. He did have quite a big crash. I will say that. I think maybe it's just really hard to damage a wing on standard, and normally it doesn't happen. But it was quite the crash that him and Krim had, and I'm excited to review it actually.
No, that would be good. And lastly, before I let you go, I liked your very confident message that you stuck into the Creator Series Discord a few days ago, saying that, you were having no issues with your network connection and that you would be a very reliable person to host this lobby. Well, on reflection, what do you say, Mr. Gillen?
Yeah, I may have been wrong on that one. To be honest, that's the first time I've hosted and I've had issues. I don't host that often, but I host VSC Ranked. I've hosted a couple open lobbies this week. I've hosted a Creator Series race before. But yeah, to be fair, the second race, I know Krim disconnected at the end. I saw a couple of people leave. Don't know if that was by choice or what, but the second incarnation of that race seemed to be pretty solid. I didn't crash or anything, but yeah, the first one went very wrong. So clearly, I'm wrong. The game's just got issues.
I had to poke my fun at you.
Yeah,
well done, Gillen. You go enjoy your Saturday night. Look forward to seeing how you clip book the hell out of this on Monday. Well done. Have a great night, mate.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for commentary. Bye.
There you go. All right, love it. Let's talk to... there's a chat and there's many pictures of me in this chat right now, I'm seeing. All right, let's talk to Mr. Tom 97. My heart bleeds for how close this man got today. It's coming. I think we counted up. It's been 70 races since you won, and I really thought this was going to be a Tom. Talk me through what happened. Why?
There's a date in my mind, Scott. September 30th, 2024.
No.
Season 7 finale. That was the last victory. Pushing 2 years now. So, yeah, I was on a mission today to try and make that mine. And I did a pretty good job of collecting the additional points also with the wet pole and the regular pole. But, yeah, I just think... I can't really say why I didn't win that. We were just pushing flat out. It was really fine margins. I said to the boys before on the podium, there was one key moment in that race, which maybe you were watching live. I'm not sure if you were, but there was a point where 2Key retired in the first stint, in which I happened to overtake GB, and then I had to let him back through because I got an illegal overtake because of 2Key's yellow flag in the pit lane. That key moment gave Gillen overtake. He managed to get within a second at that point. Before then, he wasn't catching. He was kind of staying there. So I would have liked to have seen, if that hadn't happened, how the race would have played out. Because that's the only key moment I can think of where something could have swayed.
You've got a good point. To be fair, I do remember that as well. Unfortunate with that. That's these games for you sometimes. Let me ask you this question. See if you could have had 10 more laps. Do you think the result would have been different?
Honestly, no. My tyres were pretty finished. I just couldn't get close enough at the end. I was really struggling. I got bailed out by Davide with overtake a couple of times to kind of really get close and get within a second. But yeah, my tyres had gone a good 7 to 8 laps before the end. So I was catching, it was like 1/10, 2/10, but that's not enough of a delta to make an overtake. And naturally, that's only going to help Gillen as it goes along. So not sure. I tried to go as long as I thought was reasonable on the previous stint. So yeah, I just think maybe overall soft, medium, hard was slightly quicker in strategy compared to soft, hard, medium.
I can't get over how close it was. Gillen was having a wet dream with the no safety car rules. What's your thoughts on that being up at the top? You up for that?
Good. Life was good. Yeah. Life was very good. I've always, sometimes it's a bit of a cop-out excuse because everyone can claim bad luck, but today I think proved I might be a bit inconsistent, and I know I get a lot of stick for being, passive, not the best on battery and stuff. But a normal race with no variables, traditional variables specifically, okay, like we're talking about rain and stuff, that's fine. But like these other variables are not great for me. I'm still very quick, so I take pride from that, and qualifying also confirmed that.
Well, I think me, you, and your chat will be very happy to say that we're thinking Tom's back. Okay, I know the win's not there yet, but the consistency is king. That's how you eventually win like full championships. It's not by winning every race, which you know that. It's banging to see it. I can't wait. I got a good feeling for this season. Right, anything you want to say to your fans because they've been supporting you every week, and you're delivering, my friend.
Before I do,
yes.
To confirm if I'm back or not, the next 4 rounds, there's a trend in terms of what these circuits are. Baku, Monza, Vegas, there's a pattern here.
They're banging tracks.
Yeah, but the battery's not going to be banging. So this will confirm if I am back or not. We'll see how I perform. But either way, obviously appreciate all the fans. The stream was on fire today. Everyone was rooting so hard. Everyone was helping in chat, being like engineer, where they give me the info, the lap times, the fuel, the battery. So it was great. I got great community, so I appreciate everyone that watches on my end. And yeah, we tried, but we'll go again one more time.
I love to hear that. That's why we do it. Only one person can win, but see if you're having fun. It's all about the journey, not the destination. Tom, have a great week. We'll see you next time. Take care, mate.
Thank you, boys. Cheers.
Thank you. And that's one of the truest sayings on the earth, right? It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. It's very profound. If you can really get your head through that, your life gets a lot better. FYI. All right, let's talk about GB, who, as much as I like, GB's awesome. Why do I have a weird set feeling today that there was a bottle, even though you were very good? Why? I thought you were going to win this race. What happened?
Nah, bro. I screwed it up on the first stint, and I realized that. I realized Gillen was really, really smart. So overtake is so powerful in this game that I didn't think about the battery. I was thinking about tire offsets, and I was like, oh, if I get a nice tire offset, maybe there'll be some fighting or something. I can chip away and come back at the ends. I completely underestimated how powerful overtake is, and in the end, Gillen was really smart. He used his worst medium tires to latch onto Tom which you saw. Even when I had better mediums than Gillen, he pulled away from me because of the overtake and slipstream. So I kind of knew on the second stint it was GG, but I still had fun. I mean, my strategy was muddy, but it allowed me to lose track position and fight back through like Ben, Karim, those guys. So it was all right. It was decent. I'll take it.
Okay, I'll take that. So we're having fun here. We're having fun. All right. Now, I've been asking everyone. Gillen was on top of the world, feeling that there was going to be no intentional safety car. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think I was actually talking about this mid-race. I think, firstly, because there's been a lot of debate internally as well for any viewers that don't know about whether the three compound rule should stay or go. Right. I voted for it to go, but when you have a race with no safety cars like that, I actually think it worked really well. So I liked the race as a whole. I don't know what it was like for all the viewers, but I enjoyed it. It was a big strategy battle. I was in no man's land at the end, yes, but overall, honestly, I was in no man's land for my own doing. So I could have been there on pace. So I accept that. I fully accept that.
You guys do talk a lot in that Discord, let's be fair. There's a lot of waffling that goes on in that.
A lot of yap.
No, definitely. Let's talk about the reverse Netherlands. Came in 20 minutes. We've not really had wildcards this season. I know you were never really the biggest fan of the wildcard. When it's like this, once every 10 rounds or something, and it's something like that, was that a good thing or a bad thing?
Okay, so I like wildcards. Firstly, I was for them being brought in initially, but I think in this 2026 DLC, with the way battery is and how, to be frank, the skill gap has closed overall because of how powerful it is in overtake versus no overtake. So all of a sudden, you've almost got that brings more people into play. That makes more things happen. I mean, just look at the number of winners we've had this season and the changing circumstances across races. I therefore don't think it needs wildcards. But to answer your question on the reverse Zandvoort, I mean, look, I was kind of so-so in the end, but I think just because it's the Dutch GP weekend, I was kind of hoping we do the normal layout. But I mean, it is what it is. No one prepared for it, obviously, so it was a big unknown, and that was quite fun. And obviously, you saw Matt 2-on-2 up there in quali as well, and you're kind of like, okay.
That was cool.
There's definitely positives. Definitely positives.
Talking about Matt 2-on-2, did you see he got rear wing damage and side pod damage at the start of this race? Something I didn't think was possible on standard damage.
Yeah, I don't know when we made the rule to include that damage in, but I felt really bad when I found that out because
it's like there's nothing you can do. If you get that, it's game over. Like, go home. Like, what?
And like, you know, some people will be like, oh yeah, but then that deters dirty driving. I mean, bro, it's creator series. We have the priority is on creators, not on pace. So you have a big skill gap and pace gap across the whole grid. And why should Matt or someone get punished when someone's just made an honest mistake and given side pod damage? You know, like, we don't want to see that. So I'm glad he was able to come back in the end.
He was raging because he had to start at the back. But to be fair, he was near pretty much my driver of the day. He went from 22nd to 8th. And I think that's very fair. Very fair.
And he's kind of, he basically got P6 with the bonus points because he got 4 bonus.
Oh,
so
yeah. Of course
it was huge.
Oh, love it. Good on him. All right, anything you want to say to your fans, GB? We are all chanting your name every week. We'd love to see you doing well.
You better be chanting my name, Scott.
Mate, every day.
I mean, what have we got? Vegas next week, I think.
I feel
like it's Vegas.
I don't look at the calendar. I just turn
expect cinema, guys. From my side, from everyone watching, Vegas, Monza. There's going to be no more strategic games like we've seen today. It is going to be gloves off, overtake games, and lots of complaining and anger.
I love that. I couldn't have said it better myself. Let's go, mate. Have a great night, and we'll see you next time, all right?
Yeah, you too, bro. See you guys.
Take care. Bye-bye. All right. Love chatting to the drivers. We get a little bit of POV from their minds, and I think they've done really, really well there. All right, let's bring the two Toms in, and we'll say our goodbyes. It's been a longer night than we planned, but overall, it has been quite a success. I won't lie. Do I like full no safety car races? No. But that's me. I'm a Drive to Survive noob. All the real racers, all the Gillens out there, they all love it. And I think to have a race that we didn't have any safety cars, I would choose that one over a lot of others because there was still a lot to look at.
I think you're right in what you're saying. It's a good experiment as well because I think so often we get stuck in the same way of doing things, and it's probably the same for most organizations, most businesses as well, where it works, why change the status quo? So actually having these one-off moments where we have no safety cars or we have something that's a little bit different throws everything up in the air and puts a lot of creators out of their comfort zone, which gives these good, really strategic races, which is what we got today.
Yeah, I think you're right. And Tom Wilkinson, definitely. I was asking the guys as well. Like, is this something that should be every week, or should we have intentional safety cars? I don't think there ever is going to be the right answer. Right? It's going to just be based on the last 5 races. See, if we've had 5 races with no safety cars, we're all going to be screaming for one, right?
Yeah, and that's just how picky and that kind of thing that we all are sometimes. We're never pleased, we're never happy, but I think it was really nice. I think obviously it was different because it's not necessarily what we normally have. It was cool to see the dynamic play out between Tom and Gillen in particular as well, because we didn't necessarily know how that was going to go. And even like Gillen said, Tom managing to extract absolutely everything out of those tyres, even though they were completely dead at the end. You have to take your hats off to both of those two because they were both incredibly strong. And we had some different performances as well. We had Matt 2-on-2 who was really strong. I think he was really impressive. Lolly with a good fight back. I think Jake could have been up there battling maybe with GB as well if he didn't have some of those issues that took place throughout the day as well. So some nice storylines, and I think it takes us through into those final 4 races that we are going to maybe think will be quite chaotic. We just can have a bit of a reset. But we've also come into this, remember, as well, off the back of 2 first-time winners in the Creator Series. We had Kai a couple of weeks ago, then we had Ricky last week. So it is almost a little bit like we've returned to the status quo with Gillen, who has got the most wins in the Creator Series by quite some way. I think he's on like 33 maybe after that, just taking over back at the front.
That's mad, right? That's mad. You guys, every week you're giving us all these facts that are so appreciated. So well done for you. I especially love the 70 races since Tom 97 has won. Did you hear the pain in his voice when he was talking about it? He knows the damn date.
If it hits 2 years, there will be a celebration and a public inquiry both at the same time.
I love it. All right. I've been Scott Taylor, your presenter tonight. With me have been the 2 Toms, TK and Tom Wilkinson. It's been a pleasure for us. TK, if we like what you do, where can we find you in this world?
Firstly, pleasure's absolutely all mine. Lovely to share the box with both of you chaps. But if they want to have a look at my social media, which isn't as weird as it sounds when I say it out loud, They Call Me TK on pretty much every single social media.
I love it. Mr. Wilkinson, where can we find you, my friend?
You can find me in the office scripting the next race of Creator Series because that's what we do every week, everyone. We script it, we rig the outcome. All of it's fake. Nothing is ever real that you ever watch.
I love it.
Hopefully you know what sarcasm is. But yeah, Wilco.com's Instagram, TikTok. Pleasure as always, like TK said. And yeah, good fun, as we always have.
I love it. We have Joseph behind the scenes being a producer for tonight, so well done, Joseph. Round of applause for him. Yeah, we are Creator Series, guys. We are nowhere if you're not watching every week. So your Saturday nights are safe with us. Please tell your friends about us. Get involved. Tell us what you want to see, and it might actually happen. Until next time, we are going to go enjoy your real life race tomorrow, and we will see you next time. Creator Series, we are out. Goodbye.